Ours, but we're still. You reach out while we're falling apart. Get me up on your highs, but we're still in love. There's a vacancy inside this heartbreak hotel, and I think we should check in. I'm going through hell. Talk about patience, what about the knot we tied? Couldn't get it right this time, so maybe we'll get it right. Sitting on needles, waiting for the best to fire. Can't do it all by myself, so maybe I'll just cry about it. Take my feelings and just lie about them. 'Cause I could really do without you. So call me just to cry about it. Oh, I cry a lot, you cry a lot, and I cry a lot. So call me just to cry about it. I cry a lot, and you cry a lot, and I cry a lot. So call me just to cry about it. I want things to remain as they were. Please be mine. Top of mind, but your mind isn't where it should be. No, 'cause it's never with me. Talk about patience, what about the knot we tied? We couldn't get it right last time, so maybe we'll get it right. I'm sitting on needles, waiting for the best to fight. Can't do it all by myself, so maybe I'll just cry about it. Take my feelings and just lie about them. 'Cause I can really do without you. So call me just to cry about it. Oh, I cry a lot, you cry a lot, and I cry a lot. So call me just to cry about it. I cry a lot, you cry a lot, and I cry a lot. So call me just to cry about it.
What's going on? I told y'all, baby, he got me in a chokehold with this song, girl. This is my shit. This is a new artist by the name of Jairia, Jairfaria, and the song is called Cry About It. He was teasing us for a whole week with a teaser, and he finally released the song in a music video, and I'm just obsessed. His music is so freaking good. He's a like pop rock black guy. I'm just living for him right now. What's going on, you guys? TGIF, welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You guys already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and run those likes all the way up. We need you to smash and dash to boost and support the algorithm, but also to help YouTube send out those notifications. So whether you're part of the Replay Gang, active with me in real time, or if you are an old nasty piece of bush, baby, I need you to bully the hell out of that like feature. Also, if you enjoy everything the King does here, you can always donate to the platform at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv, and that's conscious but with the Z on the end, just like it is here on the channel. Also, make sure that you have all notification bells set to all so that you never miss a day or hour when the King is in fact King. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn when you in fact lay the link to set them whores know that we're out live and then call in. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can be recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what is going on, Conscious Crew? I am here with my wonderful guest. He is no stranger to the platform, and that is the legendary Bubs, the motherfucking God. What's going on, Bubs?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Glad to be here.
Connect to my surround sound. Let me.
Okay, what's going on, y'all? Hope everybody doing cool. Yeah, we here. We here. No shade. My edible gonna be kicking in soon, so y'all already know what I be on. It's the weekend. Okay, TGIF. Okay, party and the weekend's here. Glad to be here. If you are off of something, whether it's a herb or it's an edible, let me know in the comments. What are you off on today? I'm off on Strawberry Fields from True North Confections. Okay, 50 milligrams cut in half. I can only do 25. Anything above 25, close to 30, girl, it's a whole nother ego death. But yes, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, baby. 25 will take me slightly out of the solar system.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Vicky Callie, who says, I found Bubs thanks to CTV on period. You know, over here, child, we don't gatekeep when it comes to our friends, girl. We put them all the way on, honey, okay? But we act as stepping stones for each other, baby, okay? We lose together and we win to motherfucking together. Tell these folks, speaking of Miss Vicky finding you through the platform, where they can find you for those who are yet to discover the grandiose land of Bubs the God.
Yeah, you guys can go ahead, of course, here on YouTube, Bubs the God. Make sure y'all check out my recent uploads as far as my video essays as well as my lives, and on Instagram. So those are like the two places that I really frequent a lot. So you can catch me on those platforms.
Not Tamara asking, can she be okay? I'm gonna see how you do today. Miss Pratt. I'm about to give you a wrench. Let's welcome a new moderator into the sanctuary, you all. My Tamara Pratt 1383 as a moderator. Okay, you are officially modded up, Miss Pratt. Welcome to the platform, and thank you for all of your future services. What's going on, you guys? Hey, Joshua. Hey, Sean. Hey, it's Jasmine. What's going on, my love? What's going on, Tiff? Hey, Queena. What's going on, Nurse Moonshine? Who said that? No, they don't, and they swear that we don't. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna drop the link. We're gonna have a little conversation today, okay? Tiffany said them Nugras ain't took accountability since 1978. My God. Today. What's going on, Gabriella? Hey, Steffi. What's going on, Aiko Fox? Hi, my love. Hey, Carolyn. Hey, my room is in tea. Hey, Karen. Hey, Boo. What's going on, Lady D? Hey, E. Cooper, just caught something. Is that Bub singing? Yes, that is Bub singing my intro. I'm going to get Bubs to do another intro, honey, but this one is going to be like very sexy reddish, very Cardi B-ish, very stank and ghetto and just heathenistic, child. Yeah. We're going to come up with something real hip-hoppity and ratchet as hell. I live off all of that. What's going on? Hey, Kimmy. Hey, my love. Hey, on period. It look good on you. It look good on you, Miss Pratt. What's going on, Latera? Hey, you all. All right. So you know what we're here to get into, child. Do these Nugras ever take accountability? You got any opening statements regarding such a question?
Girl, I know it's probably gonna trigger some people, and that's okay, because again, we working through it. I think it's very important to have these conversations, especially since CTV and I are cisgendered men. You know what I mean? And there is accountability on our side across the board. Whatever field you on or what side of the fence you're on, there could be more accountability. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe that accountability is equal on both parts, but we're gonna do our part. So I'm kind of gonna let, I guess, him kind of lead, because he was like, "You want to go live?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna talk about this," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." But I'm pretty sure it's going to be something that can be we can extrapolate something from it that can benefit all of us.
Well, I think I'm gonna lead with some questions then, because you kind of just
okay.
cracked into some things. So you say, you think there could be more accountability.
Mhm.
We expound upon that. More accountability on what front?
I believe that men can be more accountable in reference to developing in their emotional awareness and intelligence first and foremost.
My God.
I think that men need to learn how to have more dick discipline. Definitely that.
Kimmy already triggered. We ain't even got DG girls.
Okay.
Baby, if we talking about the niggers, we're talking about the motherfucking side effects, okay?
Okay. Yes, all the
Okay.
adverse effects is crazy. But those two things. And again, if men want to play into the culture that they are leaders, then heavy is the head that wears the crown. And a lot of people want full-time benefits and 401ks and OT and paid time PTO, but are giving, girl, I'm losing my word, girl, as far as not full-time, part-time. There we go, y'all, excuse me. Part-time hours.
More vacation time than they are on the clock.
Exactly. They're in the back. They're supposed to come back 30 minutes ago. Them niggas on their phone talking about, what? Yeah. So it's accountability. If you want to be the leader, you're going to be the most accountable. If you're leading people, the brunt of the responsibility is on you. Hello. If you're going to play into that role of, I'm the man, I'm the daddy, I'm grown, I lead. Okay, then nigga will lead.
But what do you think about personal accountability?
Yes, definitely personal accountability. You cannot be a leader. You cannot really be a sufficient human being if you don't take personal accountability. Because in accountability, when you work through the egoic part and you learn from it, it actually helps you to become better. Every L is not a loss. Just because a loss starts with an L doesn't mean it has to be a loss. I mean, learn starts with an L. Lesson starts with an L. So it just depends on what type of L you want. And I'm choosing to look at it from the form of learning and lesson. No shade.
Kimmy says, Bubs, how about we as women need to hold some accountability for our choices? Who would you say, do you think it's equal practically across the board between the sexes as it relates to lacking accountability? Or would you say women lack less accountability than men, or men lack less accountability to women? Or
at this point,
even?
At this point, it's even, because I think both sides have done enough damage to each other and themselves. So at this point, both parties need to do their damn job. And if people just did their job, then you ain't got to worry. You did your job. I did what I needed to do. So now the rest of it is for you to do. No shade.
Miss Bruno says, for men who don't believe they need to be held accountable, trust us. It shows. Us women and even fellow evolved men see it. Oh, baby, do we? Oh, do we? Kimmy says she's agreed. People don't like to be wrong.
That part right there. And I understand that. We live in a society now where if you're wrong, not only are you demonized on the outside, you're triggered by your own shit. You start playing into the shit yourself. So, nobody wants to be wrong, but my thing is, if I'm wrong and you're really trying to be objective, then teach me what to do. Teach me what right looks like. Because some people just complain and don't offer no solution. So if you're going to be accountable or want someone else to be accountable, you got to show them how to get there. Like CTV showed me pathways to get to better versions of myself in motion, in action, in real time. I will submit to that. I will learn from someone who can do that.
Ooh,
a lot of people ain't gonna do that.
That old nasty S word, submit. My God, not the old nasty piece of submission, but
yeah, but that's why I'm saying, like, we need to really have more conversations, because it's so surface level. Like, submit, just the way I interpret it is that you have earned another aspect that I now can reveal to you. I feel safe. I feel comfortable. I'm willing to do this for you. A lot of people think of submission as far as, oh, I'm just going to have control over you. No, it's the fact of I have more control over myself to allow you in to have control. Because I know that you're going to respect me. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if people were to work on themselves, like I'll be hearing in some of these red pill spaces, women need to shut the hell up and get back in the kitchen and submit. They want to be masculine. They want to take all this stuff. But it's like, well, maybe if you learn to speak in their language, maybe if you learn to be emotionally aware and intelligent and show up for your partner in such a way, you'll come home with motherfucking let me cater to you play in the background, girl. Get ready to rub some motherfucking coconut oil on them crusty ass eagle claw Wu-Tang Clan ass feet.
Oh,
you could probably get your meat sucked like you did when you met her back in high school. I've been with her for 30-something years, and why I gotta always put my mouth on you? Now you coming home and she putting it down because you're doing something different. I don't know. I just wish some people would be smart. But when you have two heads and you've been taught to let this head speak for everything else, this comes second. This is what happens. Well,
this is what happens, my God, today. And y'all dropping some, baby. Y'all getting into some things already in the chat. Y'all getting into some things, my God. What's interesting about what you're talking about regarding submission is that a lot of, like, everything is an art form. Love is an art form. Relationship is an art form. And of course,
right.
Submission is an art form. I know for me, I probably define submission the same way that you do. It's not an opportunity to control me. It's more so of an opportunity to influence me. And that right and that luxury of being able to influence me is predicated upon your ability to love me and provide me enough emotional and mental safety so that I can trust you as a influence in my life. A lot of people want to skip past that part and just get you to the bending the knee part. They want to skip past the role they play in creating an environment, creating a psychic and emotional and mental environment that is conducive and encouraging of someone's willingness to allow you to take the lead or to allow you to have influence in a particular manner or in a particular way. What do you think about that?
I agree. And I like how you said the word influence, because at the end of the day, I have full autonomy of my body. I get to decide what the fuck happens to my body. Yes. No means no. But again, like, if people were to actually get to know somebody's character and learn the little things about them and honor those things, it will make it I'll say it like this. The world we live in now, a lot of motherfuckers are scared, girl. We afraid to trust, girl. I'm afraid to trust this nigga. I'm afraid to trust this person, because if I do, there is a possibility that they will end up hurting me. So that's why everybody got, well, not everybody, but a lot of people got sides. A lot of people got extra shit on the side. But let's also
not skip over that important part that you just mentioned too. A lot of motherfuckers don't have no character to be trusted in.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta develop and have some character.
Yeah.
For it to be able to put you in influential positions that you don't end up abusing, because a lot of people can get into influential positions within a marriage, within a community, within relationships, administrations,
girl,
get into powerful positions, but have no character to speak of and end up abusing that said power. And maybe that's another thing that's really missing from why a lot of people refuse to submit. It's because, once again, those who want the influence don't even understand what they need to provide in order for that to make sense, for that to be the next logical step. And it's just for me to trust you, you have to be trustworthy.
Yeah.
In order for you to be a sound influence in my life, I have to also first and foremost see you making the most grounded decisions that one can make. If you out there doing lopsided ass shit and you acting like you don't know no better, and you operating out of raggediness, you operating out of a lack of discernment, what the fuck am I supposed to be trusting in when you're not even demonstrating anything that's worthy of me submitting to you?
And even in my own experiences, romantically, I show up the way that I want people to show up for me. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, when things didn't work out, and I would have conversations, and they would tell me why it didn't work out. It would be interesting because it would be like, "Oh, Bubs, you're this and you're that," and just all these wonderful accolades that it's like, "Okay, girl, check, 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 check." But it's the fact of, at least on their end, I'm afraid to trust you now because, again, there's a possibility that you can hurt me. And this is how I look at it, or I try to look at it. We all gonna die one day. Everything gonna come to an end, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily.
Y'all gonna die. I'm gonna watch y'all die. Y'all gonna die.
Okay, well, the guardian angel gonna watch us all die, girl. Yes. Okay, and
somebody got to make sure y'all go.
I'm screaming, but it's kind of like, since everything is going to end, it's like, yes, bad things can happen, or good things can happen as well. And it's easy for people to kind of like stay stuck in a particular cycle because it's familiar to them. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's draining. Yes, it's fucking up my mental, my emotional, my dis-ease can easily become a disease in my own physical damn body. But it's something that I know. It's something that I can gauge. I'm comfortable with. Some people will stick with that as opposed to going into the uncharted territories of what could be out there. And your whole blessing or compliment to your life, shall I say, could come, and you're missing it because you're afraid to step outside the box. And that's something that I had to learn. And CTV knows all about that, baby. Especially, like I said, with my ego death, baby. It was just... But see, people have to go through these things and, again, learn from them. And especially when it comes down to men, especially black men, we've been told that our emotion will get us in trouble. Our emotion will get us unalived. It would get us in different type of situations. And a lot of those individuals sit up there and say, well, I'm stoic and I have control over my emotions. No, you don't, because the only emotions that you honor are the lower vibrational ones. And you don't honor anything higher than that.
Stoic doesn't mean you have control. Stoic is the result of not even having access at all to your emotions. Being void of feelings, which is a problem in and of itself. Tamara says, what does submission look like to y'all? What does submission look like to you, Bubs?
Well, one thing I said, trust. To be able to trust me. One form of submission that I can think of that I would want my partner to show up for me as I would show up for them is that if something is really hurting me, or if there's like a traumatic event happening in my life, and even I had to learn this in other capacities as well, because I'm such a solution-oriented person, I'll be trying to find out, okay, how can I fix this? How can I fix this? Sometimes you just have to create a space for people to just be. And for me, submission is like, if one of my parents passed or one of my close friends passed and I'm breaking, just hold me and let me break. You don't have to say anything encouraging. You don't have to put on Joyce Myers or some sort of motivational speaker in the background. No, just allow me to break. I feel like that's a form of submission, because it's like I can trust you to break and to allow myself to be human. Does that make sense? So that's like what one realm of submission looks like to me, and I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Submission. What is it? I would have to say the same. Trust. It looks like trusting me. Beyond trusting me, submission to me really encompasses your ability to leave your ego at home. Like, I think that's actually the full fulfillment and the full maturity of what trust, aka submission, looks like, is from a place of egolessness. Because see, I keep going back to the person who wants to be trusted first. Like, because I see that as a major issue in our culture. It's like a lot of people are asking for something that they don't understand they have a part in. Like, you want submission, but you don't want to be trustworthy. You want submission, but you also don't want to demonstrate proper leadership, and you don't want to demonstrate things that objectively reflect that you know what the fuck you're doing, whether it's economically, whether it's socially, whether it's interpersonally. Like, you can't remove all of that from the table and then be like, trust me anyway. No, you raggedy mother. I'm not. No, girl. You're headed toward a cliff. And the only thing I can do based upon what it looks like right now is trust that if I get in that car, we'll both end up off that motherfucker. That's what I trust in. So submission is trust. Like, when I think about how I submit to the people that I submit to, it's not just based upon me agreeing to submit. It has a lot to do with who they are that compels me to trust them, which is what ends up looking submissive to the other side. And for me, when I'm in a submissive state, it means that I'm willing to listen to what you have to say. I'm willing, just on a very practical level, like when it comes to a lot of heteronormativity, power dynamics are often influenced by gender and gender roles.
Yeah.
Who's the feminine one? Who's the masculine one? Who's male? Who's female? If you're on the feminine side, the female side, you submit. If you're on the masculine male side, then you dominate. However, if I'm choosing to be submissive because I have an androgynous energy, I employ all my energy. So I'm neither male nor female. I'm both, not male nor female. I'm neither masculine nor feminine. I'm both, and I employ all those energies. I combine those energies. And when I'm in a situation where I'm choosing to be submissive, it means that I'm setting my ego aside, and I'm willing to not base power off of shallow things like who has the most money in this relationship, or who's the most masculine one in this relationship, or whose house is this. I'm willing to okay, because see, now we get into it. What my submission really is not even, I'm not submitting to you, I'm really submitting to virtue. I'm really submitting to virtue, and one of those virtues are being reasonable. So let's say that let's say I'm the breadwinner in the relationship. But we have to make a financial decision. I'm not basing who should make that decision on who is the breadwinner. I'm going to make what we do with the money, whether it's daycare, whether it's investment, whether it's money that can be allocated toward vacation or etc. I'm not based upon who has the best idea, who has the best plan of action, not who makes the money makes the choices, not who makes the money holds the power. And if you have a better idea than me about what to do with that money, regardless of whether it's quote unquote my money, I'm going with your fucking decision because I'm a logical person. And I pride myself on making informed and intelligent decisions. So submission for me is about submitting to the virtues of love, yielding to understanding, yielding to compassion, yielding to compromise, yielding to being reasonable. And that's really what all parties in any situation, in any community, any social dynamic should be about that and about nothing else. And I think because we live in a society that doesn't make submitting about a submission to virtue, because we are allowing money to decide who's got the power, we are allowing gender to influence who's got the power. Me and you as LGBT Black men know that in some regards, we are allowing who's got what orientation to decide who's in power, because we've heard straight men say that they're not quote unquote submitting or going to exist under the leadership of a same gender loving man. And these are all idiotic.
Yeah.
All idiotic excuses to not submit, because ultimately, what are we doing here when we're making it about all of that? The person with the money could also be the stupidest individual.
No shade.
The straightest person in the room could also be the most unqualified motherfucker in the situation.
From administration.
Yeah. And yet we are going to allow people to go forth based upon things that have nothing to do with intellectual capacity, that have nothing to do with the capacity to be extremely wise and to be extremely informed about a matter. So my submission, first and foremost, just starts with whether you are worthy of that submission through being a trustworthy, consistent demonstrator of actions that are largely rewarding and prosperous. And then I yield to you, yield to the relationship, my submission to virtue, but I have to trust you before I can trust what you have to say in a situation that is unknown to me.
Right. And
so yeah, go ahead.
No, and I mean, it's like the title says beautifully, y'all. Shadow work, narcissism, forgiveness, and therapy. Working through, working is definitely narcissism, but the other three things, working with those things. I feel like before people get in a relationship, they need to first of all be comfortable with who you are as a person first. How can you get in a relationship with somebody? And that's kind of like how I used to think, because I had traumas in my life, and even some that I'm still removing, because again, it's a lifelong journey, no shade. I felt like as long as I was in a relationship, especially at that time when I was just following everybody else, just doing my own thing to move in, and if I'm going to do everything like everybody else, and if it's going to always be like this, and if there's not going to be any sort of change, then at least allow me to have someone that I can go home to every night. And the universe kept saying nope, 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 because I felt like if I was in a relationship and someone loved me, then I would have all this extra energy, and I feel like I would have purpose and show up and be able to do all these things. And the universe said no, because if that person dies, then what happens to you? If that person chooses to walk away from you, then what happens to you? And I already knew what was happening to me when these people decided they did not want to move forward with me in a romantic capacity. But I'm grateful for those experiences, because I had a teacher and also was able to learn how to apply those tools and lessons to myself, to where, do I want a relationship? Yes, it would be nice, because I know that I'm a good fucking partner. But I also realize that if that is going to be the case, I deserve a good partner as well. And I was doing the majority of the work, and they were all receiving. And then when it was time for them to give back to me, there was nothing they really could give back, because again, they were the wrong people, which is why it did not work out. But I think if people were to when I say relationship, I'm kind of looking at it like a partnership, if you will. That's like y'all both going into business with each other. Y'all both are responsible for the growth, for the maintenance, for the evolution of this business. How far do y'all want to take this business? It's going to take both of y'all. Sometimes one person may have to bear the weight of all that has to be. Because this is how I think about it. We be sitting here, and even you did a video, I think, yesterday, where you were talking about 2 women who were going crazy over some dick. To where it's like, and I'm about to lose my thought. Fuck. Damn. Fuck, I was going somewhere with that shit.
2 hoes going crazy over dick.
Girl, what was I about to say? Oh, it was so good too.
As soon as you let it go, it'll come back.
Yeah. Okay, what I was saying, girl, they was the people. If you
Two
if you
women
fuck with
over.
me on Bubs a guy, girl, you understand this happens sometimes.
Yes, it happens because the brain be moving slower than consciousness does. So consciousness be full steam ahead, the brain be
And I already
trying
be
to catch up.
stuttering and
And be
shit
like,
and
wait
be
a minute, bitch, I forgot
putting
my plan.
words together, bitch. I be trying to slow down intentionally so I can. That's
Yeah.
another reason why I like marijuana because
But
it
if you keep it moving
ganja
forward,
because it does
yeah.
that.
If
But
you keep it moving forward though, it'll come to you. So just build upon two women fighting over dick. A live I did yesterday.
Okay. Two women fighting over dick. And there it is. Cool. So again, it be the most superficial facts. Like CTV said, the nigga is fine. Nigga do got body. Nigga do got face. Nigga do got popularity. Nigga do got swag. Like, those are the shallow things, and they're going crazy over shallow shit. I'm talking about this how you know when somebody real. If life's against your ass. Yes, you can throw ass in a circle and in a rhombus and in a hexagon, and throw it back and spin around and keep the still inside. But what happens if you wake up one day and the lower part of your body can't fucking move no more? You gonna want that individual to stay with you, even though you can't throw it back. You gonna still want them to love you, right? If you get into a car accident and then lose a limb or something, you still gonna want that person to love you, right? If illness suddenly strikes you, you gonna want them to stay with you through the process of that, right? Like, yes, love and everything is so good. It's easy when it's good and it's wonderful and the money there, the body there, the house there, the car there, girl, all the superficial shit is there. But when your mortality is threatened and none of that shit fucking matters because, girl, there's a possibility you're gonna lose all that shit, that's when you know somebody really cares for you. And I remember you had shared a video where it was a girl, and even you, in your video with the family, saying that she was sitting there talking about having this big ass house and just all this
It
wonderful,
was
grandiose thing, and she in there crying, talking about, I
it
thought
was
that
Nicki
they was.
Minaj just half sister Mingly.
I
Yeah.
thought they was gonna be here with me, and I thought we was gonna be eating dinner right here and shit and eating food because we ain't really had it like that. I thought we was, and they wasn't there. At the end of the day, you have to love yourself first. First, people who are narcissistic are gonna take that the wrong way, but when you love yourself first, that means if I'm trying to manifest all this stuff that I want to experience in my life, I gotta believe in myself first and realize that I deserve it and live that out. And in my experience, I wasn't living that out. Those individuals were receiving from me and I was not getting anything back. And I was acting like them chicks who was fighting over an individual because of an idea. But when I learned to love myself and I realized I came in this world by myself, I'm going to leave by myself, I have to make sure that I'm good. But now I have to get to an overflow state. Everything on the overflow, I then share that. I cannot be good for anybody else if I'm not good for myself first. And I'm glad that I'm going to be 35 this year, that I'm now learning that. There are people who are older than me who don't even understand that.
Yes.
So I'm grateful to have that awareness. So did I have to sacrifice a few things? Yeah. I haven't dated in a long time. I'm an individual.
Amen.
Let me tell you something, and no shade. Whoever get me is gonna get a motherfucking prize, bitch. I'm short. Big things come in small packages. I'm just saying.
They do.
But here's the thing, though. I don't go out for me. I'm not judging other people, but for me, I don't have casual, actual relationships. No, baby, you got to earn this. I'm not a person you could just send a picture to and, oh my God, I'm hooked. Now, maybe the old Bubs, it was a little bit of work there, but the person that I am now, no, you got to stimulate me here and in here first. Then everything else will come. Because if a nigga really wanted to get some, it's not a problem at all. Again, height ain't stopping shit over here. Okay, I like to climb trees and I have ladders. So, I mean, hey, it's really, again, the energy and the confidence and how you walk. But I deserve what it is that I deserve. And if that means that I have to be single, that's fine. But when it comes down to men, especially with heterosexual men in these conversations, what I've been seeing, especially from a lot of men who have fupas and low-key have bigger natural titties, they're saying that they're hoping that all these things happen to women so that some way, somehow, women are going to be like Rochelle Farrell running back to these niggas with open arms. I feel like No shade, the way that some of these men are showing up that want to be leaders, girl, some of these hoes would rather run with the goddamn goats or whatever, the pigs that had the demons in them off a cliff than to deal with you niggas. And that's the problem. That's the issue. So I'm cool with the well-rounded ass situation. Because I'm ready to go there too. No shade as far as the accountability, as far as some of these men and what they have done.
So I have a question. So when you spoke about if you're not well for yourself, then you can't be well for nobody else. What can that look like? Like how can a person recognize if they're not well for themselves?
Well, if you're allowing certain situations to play out, but you energetically know how it's going to end, that's one. Because it's like a cycle. Yeah, it may be tricky in reference to like the unique expression of it. Like in my experience, I had different individuals, different heights, different shapes. I've dated different type of people. I talked to somebody who was partially deaf. I've talked and dated people who were positive. I've dated people who were chubby. I've dated all types of people because I was trying to understand their character. But they would never, ever really give back to me in the way that I deserve. I was willing at that moment to just take the crumbs because the crumbs is better than nothing. That's a disservice to myself. That shows that I wasn't well for me because I kept giving and receiving a little bit and being okay with that. That was at least one thing for me that made me look at that as far as it being unhealthy. The way that I would allow those situations to like deeply affect me emotionally. Like when I went through my stuff in 2018, I low key was contemplating taking my life. And the last time I did was when I was a child, dealing with my sexuality. I would never ever do that again, bitch. I'd be ready to fight a nigga, girl, before I take myself out. It's gonna be me and you, and mostly me, before anything. But that was unhealthy because I shouldn't have given my power over to somebody else like that, especially somebody who did not even know the power that they had or don't even know themselves. And no shade, to this day, still don't know themselves mentally and emotionally. Yeah, things have grown in their life. Life has gotten better financially and all these other type of things, physically, but mentally, emotionally, they're still in the same place they were when we were talking. So it's kind of like, yeah, it has to be more. So those are at least the two examples that I can give.
Yeah. So back to, and that's good stuff, to Black
you.
men. Why do you think Black men seem to struggle in and with the concept of accountability, the execution of accountability? And what would you, how would, well, okay, so, well, let me ask you this question. What do you define as accountability?
What I define as accountability is the awareness that you played a part, whether it was consciously or unconsciously, into the breakdown of something. And if you really care, like you claim you do, keyword, really care, like you claim you do, you will do what is necessary, even though your ego will be triggered, to work this out because the love is greater than my ego in this situation. So that would be my answer.
Okay, so now I gotta ask you this question. What the fuck is love? How do you define love?
If we've had a very difficult, okay, bitch, I'll tell you what love is. When you can, girl, you about to smile on this part, bitch. When you actively walk away from someone for an extended amount of time, and you're always on their mind wondering what's going on, and then eventually you reach out with the awareness of this person also has the right to not talk to me ever again if they want to, because I made that choice. So whatever the fuck come with it, I'm gonna have to put blood on the mercy seat if that's the case. And that person chooses to open up the door because they really love somebody. That is what I would consider love.
I would define love, and I like that. I would define love as the willingness to crucify your ego. Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I know that I love someone, and that's how I know that someone loves me. It's not through attachment. Attachment is attachment. Attachment is not synonymous with love. I think we live in a culture that makes attachment synonymous with love. Attachment can have the least to do with love. It could be about dependency. It could be about codependency, and you can be dependent upon a person for various reasons. It could be under the guise of a trauma bond, convenience, usury. So attachment is not synonymous with love. Love, to me, is the submission of the ego. Well, what does a self look like without the ego? Vulnerable.
Yes. Yes.
Vulnerable.
That's scary. That's the scary part.
Fully available. And sacrificial. Sacrificial. So when I don't see those attributes in a so-called loving situation, I know that it's something else. I don't care what language a person keeps using. I love. I know that you believe that. Right. I know you believe, because you're attached to me, and there's a passion and there's a electricity with that, and you conflate that with love. But we want to see what love looks like when you don't get your way with me. We're going to see what love looks like when those power dynamics have to favor me rather than you. We want to see what love looks like when you're being called to do something that you normally wouldn't, or something that you don't think is you. We want to see what your yielding looks like. What you smiling? What you over there smiling for?
Girl, my edible kicking in, girl. I can feel it.
Oh, you can feel it? What does it feel like?
It feels good, girl. And we having this conversation, so you know I'm about to be in. And no shade before you finish your thought. Sometimes I just like listening to conscious talk. Girl, it'd be like, okay, girl, I know that I can talk. It ain't no problem, girl. But sometimes it just be like, when that wisdom is flowing, sometimes my spirit be like, bitch, shut up and listen. Because again, I am a student, so when you be talking, it be times you'll be on the phone and he'd just be going, I'd be listening. He'd be like, what you over there doing?
I'd be in the flow.
I was listening, girl, till you came and checked on me. I'm listening to you.
You listen to me and I'm thinking about you. That's how the love. That's how the love is. Okay, so let's read some definitions of those below. Yes. Rumor says that's a great word. Love equals ego death conscious. Kimmy says love is vulnerability. Yep, that's one of the telltale signs that you have entered into the love phenomenon. Yeah. It's Jasmine said that there are so many attachment styles. Yes, and all those attachment styles a lot of times get conflated with love, including Stockholm syndrome. It's a mess.
No shade.
Divine Fleming says my first love was a femme Scorpio. Ooh, shout out to the old nasty Scorpio.
Shout out to the femme niggas. Amen.
He always tries to double back with me, even though he broke up with me for being narcissistic, but he keeps wanting to rekindle. Well, he may be an empath, which is why he's attracted to your narcissism. So that don't mean you ain't narcissistic as fuck, Divine. I'm curious to know, Divine, what do you think about being labeled as a narcissist? Do you agree with that? Do you see where he may think that? Do you think you have narcissistic traits? Because you can have narcissistic tendencies and traits without being a full-fledged narc, or you could be a full-fledged narcissistic lunatic. It just depends. But what do you think about someone thinking that you are a narcissist, Divine? Tamara says unaccountable men will love the fact that you love them. Oh, absolutely. Narcissists love the fact that you love them, and emotionally avoidant individuals love the fact that you love them. Love is intentional, selfless character. Anything other than that is infatuation or obsession. Dang. Danielle says, laughing my ass off. That voice is soothing, ain't it?
Hell yeah. No shade. I mean, we need to have like I guess they want a midnight session. Like when you come in the midnight, girl, have some red lights playing. You already got them silk dress shirts and shit, girl. What's going on, y'all? This is Consciouztv After Dark.
Big Papa. Look.
Okay.
I got some audio content that's coming out. It's on the spiritual side. It's on like the affirmational side. So
I'm going to definitely check that out.
People are going to be able to get into the audio CTV content. I feel like he's settling for me because I'm his most masculine option, and that's why I can't take him seriously. Oh, y'all might need some couples therapy, baby. Aiko says, I have to around people that don't take away from the peace I fought for and for in a world and add to it. They get angry sometimes about wanting to join the world, but no, they aren't ready and project. Yeah, that's a thing. Love should have brought your ass home last night. Don't mind me. Boomerang came on earlier this week.
Okay.
Desiree says, y'all are so cute. Thank you, Desiree. Thank you, babes. Lots of left facts, buffs. Okay, so let's talk about so back to Black men and the struggle with accountability. What do you think that comes from?
Well, I believe that one of the ways it manifests, one of the root issues is as we can see, Black men are taught that they cannot have emotion. Being Black is already something in this country. Being a Black man is also something on top of that. And then now every aspect of possible joy or happiness has been demonized, and the only thing that's celebrated is lower vibrational actions and expressions. So I think that's one place that it manifests. Another is when they were younger, they were told that, men don't cry. They didn't learn how to honor the tears of young boys and help them through that emotionally, talk them through it emotionally. Instead of just yelling and telling them to man up, and then you wonder why when they do become a man, now they're emotionally callous and cannot connect with their partner. So I think those two things, at least as a starting point, has played a part in why a lot of men, and in particular Black men, show up in this way. And again, that's on the whole spectrum of men, whether you're straight or you're gay. Because the same exact thing is happening in the queer community. There are a lot of men who are emotionally detached or checked out or unavailable. So it's across the board. It's a pandemic in humanity dealing with men. No shade, but those are at least my two starting points.
I think that a lot of people have on both sides, male and female, struggle with accountability because most people are used to being shamed and condemned as a result of being found guilty of something. And I think because that approach is so harsh that accountability equals fear for a lot of people, because they expect to be punished rather than penalized, or they expect to be punished rather than corrected. And so because a lot of people have seen and been victims of being punished as a result of so-called being wrong, people then run from accountability. Instead, they try to deflect, they try to deny, they try to mansplain, to womansplain, do everything to avoid what in fact is hold themselves accountable. And then the recipient of that experiences that as a person lying, a person trying to manipulate them. And then the whole thing becomes a total shit show as a result of that breakdown. I have probably only experienced maybe a hand, I'm not talking about like literally probably can count on one hand, like a handful of men who have really been able to body accountability. That is something that I have not seen. That is not a fluid experience. That is something definitely not
Hell no.
something that I can say is a common girl. It is as rare as seeing a unicorn horse girl, or seeing a horse with wings, or seeing a fairy out in nature girl. Like few far and in between, like seeing, like a UFO sighting, if you will. And I think that is pretty sad.
Yeah.
Because accountability, healing begins with accountability. Healing self comes with accountability. Healing any relationship, any situation comes with accountability. I wrote something on my community wall.
Yes, read it.
That I want to read here.
I thought this bitch was about to say, I wrote a poem in my head. Y'all want to hear it?
Absolutely not.
Ah.
Absolutely not. So I've been I frequent therapists, on again, off again throughout my life. And I jumped back into personal therapy back in January, so that I didn't have to end up in a orange jumpsuit. And therapy is something that's very well. Before we get there, let me get that. I'll get that later. Actually, let's stick back to accountability, because that's going to take me into something else.
Okay.
What does I'm going to tell you what? So, in order to paint like what accountability looks like to me, right? And y'all tell me how y'all feel about this. I feel like accountability is literally onus. It's ownership, taking ownership of what you've done, and who and what it impacted, and then being integral enough to commit to the work to undo the harm, and to resolve and to repair the damage that has been done. That's integral. So accountability leads to the proper action taken against what you've done. So, for instance, if, let's say, I'm the person who made the mistake, but I also operate out of a high level of emotional intelligence. But let's say that I cheated on my partner. You know how I'm going to approach my infidelity? Let's say we decide to go to therapy, if you will, over my bouts of infidelity. You know what I'm going to do in therapy? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take accountability. What that looks like for me is going into therapy and saying to the therapist, I'm here because I fucked up my wonderful relationship and kind of don't know why I did so. And I have a partner, the person who was the recipient of my lack thereof, who's gracious enough to partake in the rebuilding and the restructuring of our relationship. And I am committed to doing the work necessary to correct the harm that my actions caused. So, therapist, can you tell me how to unfuck my relationship? That's what accountability looks like.
Yeah.
Accountability is literally just that. Standing in your bullshit, taking ownership for your bullshit, and then putting in the work to not be on your bullshit. And providing the life that you've promised, that you've proposed, that you've ensured, the reality that you've made someone believe in finally be manifested. What is hard about doing that if you in fact also love and you are for real and you are sincere? Because someone said it earlier that there's a performative accountability, and maybe that's how we distinguish between performative accountability and actual accountability. Actual, genuine, sincere accountability leads to action. It becomes a verb. It's not just an acknowledgement. It's not just a confession. It's not just, oh yeah, I did this, and then the sequence of events stop there at just you acknowledging what you did. Versus genuine integrity that doesn't waver from the facts. The facts are, I was fucking wrong. The facts are, my heart doesn't reflect my actions. The facts are, I lied. The facts are, I caused unnecessary harm to a undeserving person. And the facts are, I'm willing to do everything I need to do to preserve something that I have decided is enriching and valuable to me.
Right.
You know what happens when we don't take accountability? Bitches turn into Huda from Love Island season 7 and are showing up to the baby mama's house to jump off her rooftop, but not before committing a murder-suicide. First. You know what happens when we don't take accountability? Gaslighting, playing down what has happened, furthering psychological harm, whether we're intending to, even worse if you're intending to do that, if you know what the fuck you're doing, to
break the
the
chain.
victim.
Sorry.
Tightening those mental and emotional chains around an already fucked up situation. Because here's the interesting thing about it is that most people can forgive. You just got to be fucking can you be forgivable? Most people actually have the capacity to move on, but you can't expect someone to move on from something you don't take accountability for, and you can't expect somebody to be able to move on from a past you keep making the future.
Yeah.
From a past you keep recreating in the moment.
Presently,
Yeah. And every time you do, and you don't correct your pathology, you don't correct your behavior, you just create more injuries that have to be accounted for. So now a person doesn't even have to rely on the past. They can talk about the shit that just took place within the last 48 hours. Fuck what happened 2 years ago. Fuck what happened 5 years ago. Bitch, I can talk about what happened last Saturday. Zero accountability. And what's interesting to me is that people don't want accountability, but yet they want a fully functional, happy community. They want a fully functional, happy marriage. They want a fully functional, happy friendship. They want a fully functional system without accountability and without change.
Right.
How hard is it for you, Bubs, to take accountability? And what did you need in situations where you needed accountability for someone else? What did you look for?
I want to do with the first part of what you asked, as far as
how hard is it for you to take accountability? Is that an easy thing for you? Is that
it has gotten easier.
Easier.
And I think one thing that kind of reminds me, like, you might as well just tell the truth, because the truth gonna come out anyway. So why not just own it as soon as possible, so that your narrative or whatever, as far as it, can't be spun even deeper on you to manifest the fear that you're afraid of. As far as the punishment, yeah, it may be a punishment because you did not tell the truth, and then you lied, and then you played. Yeah, it's going to be a punishment. But imagine being able to say, you know what? Like, for example, you had back when you did your review of Dr. Umar Johnson sitting on the panel with Rod Digger and them or whatever, and Lord Jamar, you were saying he knows that he's caught in this situation, and we see where he at now. But instead of saying, look, y'all, no shade, I have misappropriated the funds, I did some YN shit, even though I'm not a YN. I've been sleeping in crack houses and all type of shit, lying to y'all this entire time. I stand again in the full awareness of that, and I throw myself to the mercy of the court. And that means I accept whatever comes with that afterwards. I don't get to control that. I should have thought about that before I did that. But now that we are here, now I have to deal with what is going to come, whether I want to or not. So I might as well just tell the truth. And one thing that CTV said to me years ago, which is true, just expose yourself. Just go ahead and expose yourself, because you're going to be exposed, especially in this age. So tell your own truth, because that truth can set you free. But a lot of people can't handle the truth. It's too blinding. It's too much. And I understand, because again, that's the fear part. But that's why it's important to go through the fear. That's how you build your courage. That's how you build and strengthen your will. And a lot of people, I guess, don't know how to do that. Again, they're subscribing to the fear narrative of, oh my God, this is going to happen to me. And I've been guilty of doing that. And then when the actual shit manifests and nothing happened, I'm like, oh, I did that to myself. I did that. The power of my own mind that I also play into believing it. So now that I've gotten better, it has gotten easier for me to be accountable, to where I'm just going to be aware, so that I don't have to put myself in situations to be held accountable. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm accountable for myself first, to where I don't need to have people outside of me holding me accountable as much. I'm taking the reins and working out my own soul salvation, because it's my own soul salvation. So, and what did you say the second part of the question was?
What does accountability look like to you if you're on the receiving end of accountability? Like if somebody in your life had did something really fucked up to you, or somebody had lied to you in a way that was very significant, or betrayed you in a way that was really significant. What would accountability look like for you out of that person?
I'll use the same example as you used, cheating.
Okay.
This person has cheated on me. It was the heat of the moment, whatever the case may be. Accountability to me is them telling me as soon as possible, hey, I did something wrong. I fucked up. I allowed my ego to get in the way, and I did some shit that I wasn't supposed to do. And it would hurt me to keep this from you, to pretend like nothing ain't happening because I'm playing in your face. I love you so much. I'd rather just tell you the truth. Because like you said, when you love somebody, you're willing to also set it free. If it's meant to be, it'll come back. So if I'm in this situation and I'm being honest about it, to me, that's accountability, to where, yeah, we still have to work through some stuff, but I respect you so much more because at least you came and did the adult thing or the right thing to do, especially if you know you would want that same thing done for you if the shoe was on the other foot. So that's what it looks like to me.
How would a person in that same situation, if they are the betrayer, go about correcting that beyond just being transparent and honest. Like,
Right.
would you
What does the
need
action look like? Yeah.
anything from
Therapy.
them aside from?
We can do therapy, because again, I would like to be able to talk about where this is coming from. Because if you feel like you needed to cheat in that moment, can we discover where the origin of that comes from? Is there something that you're, hiding from me that you don't want me to know? Like, I want to be able to explore that, because again, if we're going to make this relationship work, I'm going to do my part. And if I love you, I'm going to continue to do it until I'm completely exhausted and there's nothing left to where I have no choice but to. But therapy is one thing. I guess learning different communication styles and willing to be more open about things. So trying to find some practical means to be able to communicate when someone's feeling some type of way, so that it doesn't have to lead to cheating or putting yourself in a situation for that to happen. And no shade, I would have to just be honest about, I have to build up my trust. So we'll have to do some trust exercises or something, because there has been a damage, a blow to the armor of trust. And yeah, we're gonna have to weld that bitch out, or hit that bitch out with a hammer or something to work out, all the dents in the armor. So that's what I can think of right now.
I think that's a great part of the work and accountability is, what do you understand about your psychology? What do you understand about the rabid version of your fucking mind that told you to do that fuck shit that you did in your growth?
That part.
Well, what do you understand about that, you fucking hypocrite? What do you understand about your hypocrisy? What do you understand about the psychology of your of your hypocrisy? Like, I want the nooks and the crannies. I want the Carfax report. Because that's also going to tell me how deep you're taking what's happened and what you've done, and whether you are existing on a surface level with it, or whether you're really, really invested into the why. You know what you did. Do you understand why? Because if you mull over the why, you're probably bound and liable to be a repeat offender if you don't address the why. Why did I do this shit?
Yeah.
If you don't do the forensics on that, you're going to end up a repeat offender. Now, you used a word earlier, punishment. Do you make a distinction between punishment and penalty? Or what? Because for me, for example, because a lot of people just want to skim past all of the science of healing. Science healing is not poetic. The end result of it is, the end result is glorious and magnificent and so worthy and restoring and transformative and amazing for all parties. But to get there requires a lot of stages, and one of those stages is the penalty stage. I guess if we're sticking back to the cheating as an example, because I define punishment as, you hurt me, and then I decide that I can then just hurt you because, and hurt you to whatever degree because, and that I can have a reckless disregard for you because you've hurt me. That is punishment. Penalty is more of a boundary that's resurrected as a result of a breach of trust and confidence. And boundary still sustains love, but also acknowledges that the situation is now fragile, and I'm going to take reasonable means to safeguard myself until it's safe to be full again with you. So that may look like, hypothetically, in a cheating situation, you not having no motherfucking female friends for a while
Mm.
until I feel better. You not going out with the motherfucking boys for a while because you're not going to keep triggering me while I'm sitting still in the softness of the womb. You did it, so you're going to also sit your ass down, and you're going to participate in helping to provide the space I need to not be distracted by you triggering me, so that I can focus on maneuvering my brain so that things can be mutually well again. It may look like a partner who started off not looking through your phone, now wanting reasonable access, bitch, to social media.
Girl,
Wanting reasonable
I must
access.
open your phone with my face.
Yeah, wanting reasonable access, baby, to the text threads. So that may what penalty may look like, because now that trust and that confidence has to be built up again, and the similar work it took to get a person to be unguarded now has to be replicated all over again because there's been a breach in said trust. But here's the thing I want people to be careful of when it comes to being the victim of betrayal in any type of relationship, is that if you decide to remain in the relationship, you actually do have to heal.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Yes.
And there is no such thing as placing the full burden on the person that hurt you when it comes to the act of healing. There's no way to actually heal without you doing the work in you too. But a lot of people are under the mentality that because I didn't do it, it's all on the other person who did. Baby, the other person will never have the luxury of existing in your own heart, of existing in your own mind, of existing in your own body. There's no way. They can't do enough for you to truly and sincerely be okay. So you have to also know that a part of that journey involves you being willing to challenge your intrusive thoughts, challenge your concerns, challenge your fears. And it has to be a partnership in this healing thing, but it does come with you also doing the work, because a lot of people have remained in situations where there have been injuries or a significant injury, and the relationship is just now the person who did the wrong submitting themselves to various levels of abuse because the person can't get past what the fuck happened back in 1995, and they're still under the penalty of perjury. But bitch, even in the material law, there's something called a statute of limitations, bitch. At some point, bitch. Okay, like even in the material law, there's something called a statute of limitations.
And not Statue of Liberty. Limitations.
So you do have a work to do if you decide to stay the course. But my whole caveat there is the work you're putting in to help heal the harm somebody you love did to you is worth it if that's mutual and you're watching the other person also put in the work to never hurt you again. Then it's fair game. Like, you're not healing in vain. You're not healing for the hell of it. This person is actually changing and making the corrections to never put you in those positions again. And you are making the change to not ruminate over that hurt. and over those injuries. But back to niggeras. Niggeras, if at all, only want to acknowledge what they've done with no changed behavior, and then want you to be every bit of okay all at once so that they have the convenience of not being uncomfortable.
Let me get this girl some flowers.
Yeah, like, bitch, it's only been 48 hours and you
want something
want
to eat,
everything
big
to
head?
go back. You want everything to go back to normal. And then continue to be a repeat offender. Continue to do shit to slight my confidence and my trust. You, bitch, I may be made out of antimadium, but you're not even giving me the opportunity to self-heal because, bitch, you keep cutting away at me. Like, men are very interesting, and I'm a man too, but in this way, I'm not a motherfucking man.
Right.
In this way, I cannot identify with men. When it comes to this type of shit, this is when, bitch, I'm from Venus and niggeras are on and come from Mars, because in this way, I am nothing like other men. I don't know whether that has to do with the divine femininity, coupled with the fact that I insist upon being emotionally intelligent. I insist upon not being harmful to people that I love. I don't know what are the mechanisms, but I don't even understand how people can even do half the shit they do to people that they love, yet alone then make a bad situation worse by being unrepentant or halfway repentant or expecting okayness without personal transformation within themselves. It is really bizarre to me at how delusional men are, for one, and for two, how men are so unequipped to do the work and so unequipped with the tools necessary to evolve that men will also completely sabotage and or throw away what they really want because of their own personal incompetence, rather than just do the fucking work and learn how to do the fucking work, rather than fall to their knees and cry out to God or to seek the help necessary with everything in them. Because if niggas would put just as much energy into seeking a proper therapist as they do seeking a new pair of Jordans, men wouldn't be in this position. If men would put the same fucking effort that they put into seeking another bitch, then they wouldn't have any issue putting in that effort in seeking the proper mental health services. And I really want to encourage people to get into therapy. Therapy is not just about being in trouble, which is what I wrote about on my community wall post. Therapy is for people who are in trouble. If you're in trouble any kind of way with yourself, if you're in trouble in a situation, therapy is great. But therapy is also informative.
Yes.
And a lot of times we get sucked into toxic dynamics and unhealthy dynamics and don't even realize that we are participating in our own spiritual death because we don't know what the fuck we're looking at to begin with. We don't have a trained eye. So once again, it's already bad enough that we're conflating a lot of things with love that aren't love. We're conflating attachment and trauma bonds and this, that, and the third with love, which is not. But we also don't know that this can't and isn't going anywhere because what you're in fact dealing with is a malignant narcissist or a emotionally avoidant individual. You don't even know what you're looking at. You don't even know that there's a language for what you're living and that there's context for what you are experiencing. And everything just keeps getting lumped back into love and desire. And so in this way, knowledge becomes very empowering. And I went back to therapy back in January of this year, and I've learned so fucking much about what I've been living, what I have experienced in friendships, what I have experienced in family ships. It has given me so much perspective and insight. It has explained a lot. And in that, it has given me the keys to my freedom, because I now know what to do with what the fuck I'm in. So therapy, you guys, do not underestimate therapy. But it's hard to fight a war that you can't even recognize that you're in. You're calling the war love. You don't even know that you are in a versus battle with your own fantasies and with your own projections. You don't even know that you are outsourcing for your self-worth by seeking that which is outside of yourself, because you think that, once again, attachment is synonymous to romance, is synonymous to love. I mean, like, these relationship dynamics that we be in is literally equivalent to being sick with an illness. You can't cure the flu the same way you can cure stage 1 prostate cancer. If you don't know what this even is, you can't successfully liberate yourself or successfully employ the necessary things to bring clarity and balance and restoration to your situation. And so therapy becomes a powerful avenue for you to get access to nuance, information, language, meaning, and definitions that help you to understand your lived experience. Now, I was already on a powerful trajectory of saying fucking no and socially breaking up with people, breaking up with systems. As a result of therapy, just within the last like 2 months, I've become even more goddamn fantastic.
Oh,
I've become even more goddamn efficient, because I understand exactly what the fuck is going on. I understand exactly who the fuck you are, and I understand exactly what the fuck you're doing. I'm very 4K clear about it. And I'm even more clear about how I've participated in this mental asylum that you've created for the both of us. And because of that, I've also been given the tools to unlock the bars to a prison cell I've always had the power to exit of my own free will. See, when you're ignorant, you don't know that you have choice. You don't even know that you're making a choice, because you're following through with endorphins and serotonin, and you're following chemicals as a result of the highs and lows of your situation with people. And I feel like a lot of people are very disempowered, and a lot of people end up becoming very male-centered, and a lot of people end up being subjected to unnecessary bouts of abuse emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, physically, etc., simply because a lot of it has to do with just not knowing.
True.
I didn't
True.
know. I just
True.
didn't know. I
True.
didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. I had all the wrong perspective. I had all the wrong language. I had all the wrong understanding of my situation. I'm following my so-called heart. Yeah, you were. But unfortunately, you were following the traumatized condition of your heart. You were being from your condition. And so you lost the plot and you lost the mission, which goes back to your statement about self-love and goes back to your sentiments around self-enlightenment. And it's starting there because everything else becomes a reflection of that. And I just wanted to just put a heavy emphasis on how therapy is not just about having problems and needing to solve them, but it's an information hub that is incredibly insightful. And once you're able to put language, like for instance, I remember when me and my twin flame, we had a very turbulent relationship. He was very broken by the time that we embarked upon a loving relationship, a romantic relationship. I had no idea that for 6 years I had experienced narcissistic abuse. I just chunked it up to I was with a broken person. And I didn't even really have access to the word narcissist until I did. And then when I had access to the word narcissist, I was like, oh my fucking God. And then when I learned about what narcissistic abuse is, I like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then the information hub just kept opening up to the point that I was able to correct my personal perspective of the situation. And then I was able to make more objective decisions from more objective information rather than making emotional choices, which can cost you your safety and can cost you your very well-being, because to operate purely from a place of attachment and passion and ideology can bring about the death of your spirit, the death of your life, the death of your money, the death of your well-being. People have lost their lives and ruined their lives in the name of fucking love. And not just romantic love, but just love, period. Harbored very dangerous people in their lives under the guise of loving them. Put their own health at risk. This person out using another motherfucker, and you hear bald head with cancer, hypothyroid, because you stressed yourself out to no end trying to save a motherfucker who didn't want to be saved, and then didn't even think enough of yourself to save your motherfucking own ass.
That part.
And now you're living in the consequences of overreaching and people pleasing. And lacking in self-preservation. Let me tell you something. As a super empath, bitch, my heart has put me in very dangerous, very costly. My whole life. My whole life.
Well, yes.
And the people who know that version of me are now very shook at who I've become. Because it's so far from that version of me that they even think that this version of me is evil. This version of me is just this version of me is the person that knows better and
I am
is doing
screaming.
better. But it's so far away from the person who could be manipulated. It's so far away from the person who was naive. It was so far away from the person who was uninformed once upon a time, was gullible, had a very hyper romantic view of life and people, who was willing to project myself onto other people. Like, okay, I know what's in me. I know it's in you. I know it's in you. And using that to trail behind a dangerous motherfucker under the guise that I know it's in there. I know you're in there. And who do you have to blame for that but yourself?
No shade.
And you might not have hurt yourself intentionally. It was out of ignorance.
Correct.
It was out of a lack of wisdom, a lack of application, of applying. Maybe what you even knew, because maybe you did know it, but you didn't have the balls and the courage and the will to apply.
Well, yeah. Hey.
I'm now proud of the fact that I look evil to evil motherfuckers.
Ooh.
That's one of my greatest flexes right now. Is that I look narcissistic to narcissistic motherfuckers. Because I have reverse Uno the fuck out of everything. And I'm standing on pure self-awareness. Yeah. No longer need the closure, and I don't need you to agree that you harmed me. I live the harm, and I have proof of the harm. I don't need you to fucking agree. I don't care what you tell yourself. I don't care what you tell somebody else. But all of my awakening throughout my life is due to information.
No shade.
It's due to information. Having the information literally can have a very powerful impact on your perception of what's going on. And if you're willing to let the information lead rather than your projections and your fantasies and your wants, you can correct anything in your life. You can free yourself from anything in your life if you're willing to. Black men, I keep wondering where the narcissism comes from. Does it come from over cuddling or under cuddling, or sometimes both, depending on the situation? Because we live in a male-centered patriarchal society that on one hand gives men natural privilege. That can be an issue psychologically. And then we also live in the same society that undermines men depending on their intersectionality, sexuality, race. So a lack of protection will lead to hypervigilance and lead to hyper self-preservation, which then turns into a narcissism or strong narcissistic tendencies. And I think the Black community is in a very interesting pickle because culturally, like as an ethnic group, we've endured the narcissistic abuse of white male capitalistic patriarchy.
Correct.
And I don't think we think enough about how that has informed how we show up and how we exist we can see the bouts of narcissism in our own culture due to racism, even in our sexism toward each other. I mean, look at how unwilling, I ain't gonna say all, but large chunks of Black men are willing to listen to the needs of their female counterparts. Just unwilling. Insist upon power, insist upon control, insist upon suppression and oppression. We can see the bouts of narcissism within our own culture. Even look at how unwilling, I ain't gonna say all, but large chunks of the Black community are at not listening to the needs of their LGBT counterparts. Unwilling to give a fuck. Insisting upon religious ideology to justify not hearing. Insisting upon cultural norms to justify not caring. And then you look at all the tension between Black women and Black men that is at an all-time high. Social media has a lot to do with that tension.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me. I think that Black men need like soon as you're old enough to get into therapy, you should be in therapy, because Black men have endured enough socialization, enough bad and toxic culture from within the culture and outside the culture, and it's defaulting to a certain type of unhealthy experience just by being born Black in a system like this on top of Black people, that just by default, baby, you got work to do. Just by fucking default. By default of the injury that religion has done, that whiteness has done, that capitalism has done, and then all the interpersonal issues within the Black culture, whether it be single parent, this, whether it be hypersexualization of that, whether it be the suppression of male emotion and vulnerability, whether it be all the ways in which we have to navigate Blackness in a system like this, especially if you're a darker skinned Black male. Like, there's already so much happening to you on a conscious and unconscious level, baby, that, yeah, just by way of being born into the predicament, sugar, your Black ass need to be in therapy doing your fucking work. Because you have work to do that you don't even understand, baby. You got pain that you don't even feel right now. What you're calling normal is actually, in fact, pain, but you're not trained to see it and experience it that way.
Right.
Therefore, you don't perceive it as painful. And yet we know that it's pain because of the way in which it strips you of the quality of your life in this area or that area. Like, those areas of your life that you can't figure out why they won't become complete is because of the very thing that you don't think is a fucking problem. That you're toting around in your emotional body, in your mental body. The things that you're emoting as an idea, as a philosophy, as a way of life. The shit that you're not speaking. I think as a community, like, we're grossly underestimating the predicament that we're in. So when we talk about as a collective, like, oh, Black people can't come together, and won't be able to until we do the fucking work. Without that work, there'll be no such thing, because as we know, regarding any type of change, it starts with who? You. You. There can be no us until there is a you
No
first.
shade.
You. You. Without you, there is no me. There's no us. You. You. But I'm gonna pause right there and let you get up in here.
Baby. Sorry, y'all, I was in my student mode.
Well,
But everything that you said, I absolutely agree with. And again, when I look at the some of the chapters from Blame It on the Dress, again, if you have not gotten that book yet, get it. It is an amazing read. And then I say gotten, you know, that's girl, I'm hiding the edible kicking in, so please
it's
forgive me,
okay.
girl.
You're with
But
the Son and the Holy Daughter.
yes. But there's a chapter or a few chapters where it speaks about how the patriarchy, how capitalism, all these things, and like I said earlier, how when you are black, and then again with black men, not just having the system hurt them to where I think someone in the comments said, like on a cellular level, like in our DNA, it's been so ingrained. The pain is a part of our history, to where it's like now we see us bleeding out onto each other. You know what I'm saying? To where now people are hardening in such a way, their heart is hardened in such a way to where now the same pain that they have become accustomed with, they have now began to produce it or play into that. And it's scary when men can't even wash their ass without it being called gay, or having clean fingernails without it being called gay or zesty or whatever the case may be. It's like even when some black men in those areas that are aware and conscious end up trying to rise in reference to their lived experience, their vibrations raise, their way of living raises, their experiences as far as how they emote changes and raises, they're automatically demonized and already had a label put on them. Now, for the ones who are secure, they don't really give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, just like we talked about how actions are or matter more than words, these individuals who are aligned energetically, they're living the reality that the fake motherfuckers is struggling to maintain, let alone get. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think for black men, no shade, we're going to have to really do our big one to stop, quote unquote, gayifying everything. That's the first thing. We have to stop playing into that narrative. And secondly, I think there needs to be mass cry-ins for black men to just cry and let it out, bro. Let it out, bro. Let it out. Whatever it is you're going through, create a safe space. I remember I was watching a video. I forgot the name of the individual and the organization they're part of, but I remember this individual was talking to a group of boys. And one boy was talking and he kind of got emotional. But of course, he's trying to hide it. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you can't show emotion. That's some weak bitch shit in a sense. And he said, no, man, talk to me. I want to know what's going on. And he allowed him to release energetically what he's been holding on for so long. But he lives in an environment or a society that tells him you have to hold all that in. And then you wonder why you step on a nigga's shoes or you grim him the wrong way. Now, all of a sudden, it's a problem, it's an issue, somebody losing their life. And then he said, I'm afraid to open up like this, no shade, to the quote unquote first protector in my life, which is my father. I am afraid. Even with me and my own father's relationship, it has gotten so much better. But he was an individual who couldn't understand his own emotions and thought that Jesus was going to make it right for him. But then Jesus said, okay, girl, you have queer children, not just a son, but children. And my father had to go through that transformation to where now he's become more aligned and aware to where he can actually love his children, because the only time you fail as a parent, technically, is when you stop being one. You a parent for life, not just 18, but for life. So black need to cry more, safe spaces, destroy this narrative that straight men cannot befriend gay men. And if you have individuals around you that are insecure, you have to then check them. Because again, there are men who are secure in who they are and still get demonized by the society. So it's some work that we're going to have. I feel like everybody, as far as all parts of whatever group you're a part of, do your own homework first. That's the most important thing. Get your people together first. Before we start talking about what's going on over there and over there, we're going to have to work from the inside out first. Then once we rectify all that or get to a place where we have more clarity now, then I feel like we'll have a better chance at connecting with other people, since everybody's becoming clearer now, or the word that everybody seems to hate so much, which is woke. Now we waking the fuck up. And yeah, when you waking up, especially when the sun or a bright ass light is shining in your face, when you've been in darkness, yeah, you're going to squint. Yeah, it's going to burn a little bit, but open up your eyes. And I feel like once black men start doing that, watch the black community radically shift. Because no shade, a lot of them are in last place. They're afraid to cross the finish line because of what comes with that. But they forget that they have a community that's willing to love on them. But at the same time, our love also has a limit in reference to how you treat us. As far as me giving to you, now I'm going to always love you, Whitney Houston, but as far as me showing my action as far as that part, no, baby, I'm not doing your job for you. You do it so that you can also show it for the person that you are and what you can contribute to your community and what you can also receive from your community. Because no shade, somebody said in the comments, a lot of black spaces, especially like in churches or these red pill spaces, there's a lot of narcissism. There's a lot of I want adjacent connection to a white supremacy. I want to be able to sit in the seat. Yeah. And like you said, a lot of those people are rising. But pride comes before the fall. And no shade, I think this is a time to let these motherfuckers fall and hurt themselves and let them sit there like Peter Griffin. For 12 minutes. Then once they are ready, then we can come through with the stuff. But you got to sit in your own shit for a while and think about it.
When you was talking about black men needing to just like cry and let it out, something that I see a lot of black men do that prohibit them from doing that is admitting that they're truly not okay.
Yeah.
Like, tell yourself the whole truth. You're not okay. And that's okay. That is what leads to the engagement in all of the emotions and thoughts that are in the underbelly of your survival mechanism, your coping mechanism, which is just, once again, to deny and deflect, deny and deflect. And so many black men are in the business of also self-medicating on top of denying. So they compound it with the lean, the drugs, the molly, the pill. And then you just continue to get a shit show as a result, because you're coping. And what's interesting about coping is that on some level, you also have to know that something is wrong, but you just don't have any other way, you feel, but to treat what's wrong, other than through possibly denial or with unhealthy coping mechanisms. And then we see these high suicide rates amongst black youth and black men. Black men are unaliving themselves at a higher rate than women are. Men have far less community than women do. Women can band together and can emote and create sisterhood that comes with vulnerability and that comes with heartfelt sentiments. Men do congregate, but largely in like shallow ways, not in a way that creates true brotherhood. Men bond over sex, bond over women, bond over sports, bond over ultimately things that don't have shit to do with the soul. So the community is half-baked. But you gotta tell yourself that it's okay. And I know that that's hard for black men to do because black men have not lived in a system, as you said earlier, like this is a patriarchy. So men, particularly black men, have been bred to be workhorses. There's no space for you to not be okay. Who cares? Like you have responsibility. You're a man. Man up. Suck it up. This is who you are. Your identity is rooted in labor. Your identity is rooted in providing. Your identity is rooted actually in being a non-emotional entity. That's your actual identity.
Right.
And that suffering in the silence and the quietness of all of that is what's killing Black men on every front end. Killing them. And even when I think about homophobia, you know what I think scares Black men the most about gay men is not our sexuality. It's the fact that we appear sensitive and fragile, and that causes a distortion. It even brings them face to face with the fragile part of themselves that they know exists within, that they cannot bring expression to and can't bring sound to. And I think it's why a lot of homophobic men look at homosexuals in such a vile way, because it's literally a pushback against that socialization. Like, how dare you as a man? How dare you be sensitive? How dare you embrace the feminine in that way? How dare you submit?
You're not a real man.
All of it scares. Every aspect of it scares Black men, because it disrupts the social programming that they've been indoctrinated with, and they're trying to stay true to it, even if it's at the expense of their families, even if it's at the expense of their wives, even if it's at the expense of their children, even if it's at the expense of each other, even if it's at the expense of their community, because they haven't been taught better. And even if they've been taught better because they've been born into a lucid family and a loving family, but they don't have any further demonstration or permission given to them outside of that unit, because the rest of the culture is so fucking toxic and so combative to whatever is being demonstrated on an interpersonal level. Which is why I always talk about the role that culture plays, because you can raise your child up to be as well as you want them to be, and that will have its fair share of influence. But if the rest of the culture is out of fucking control, it's going to be really hard for the values that you've instilled in your children to be something they can hold on to when the majority of the system is saying something opposite. The majority of the system is asking for something contrary. The majority of the system which is why I feel really bad for parents in the modern day age, because figuring out how in the fuck to get my children to have a sense of authenticity and to not have the values that I believe they should have, and to be able to hold on to that in a system that is so oversaturated with everything right now. The only way I know how to combat that and to preserve that is not give your children the culture. Because I've already decided that mine's, baby, they won't even experience social media until they're old enough to drive a car. Like, because I fully believe that social media needs to be only for fully evolved adults. Like 25 years of age plus, bitch. Really, not have access to the internet, but have access to social media particularly. Social media is a big part of the culture now. And Black men are in a interesting predicament, because the statistics show that we're dying spiritually. And if we don't do it differently, even if we're not being given any permission outside of ourselves to do it differently, if we personally know that we need to do it differently for our own sanity, for the sake of our own well-being, then we're going to have to definitely go visit Oz and get that courage
No shade.
that we need as cowardly lions, because it's all on the line right now. And I'm gonna just put a pause in it right there. Island Girl says, this is a really deep discussion, Conscious. You're spitting a lot of knowledge. Hey, Island Girl, my future child or children will not be on social media until they're 18 plus. Yes, I've decided the same thing. I downloaded TikTok for 2 hours and deleted it. So tired. And babe, shout out to you, Jasmine, for preserving your sanity and your mind. Because if so many more people could just unplug, it would do the system a world of good. A world of good. Hey, CTV. Hey, Jay Goody. I also think that man's ego plays a part in accepting account. Oh, absolutely. That's the root of it. The more ego you have, the less accountable you're going to be able to be. Ego is like fog. It fogs up the window that's in between the soul and the cultural self. And the more ego that you have, the more that distortion is going to be. Good point. Y'all cooking. Hey, Landon. Every day I read a story of a Black man dying in their 30s, 40s, and 50s from stress and diet-related conditions. Absolutely. People will tune in for mess, but not present when real topics. Yeah, of course.
That's the comment right there. I had to yes. That's it.
Do you want to expound upon that?
I mean, yes. I mean, because this is why we're in the situation we're in now, because again, the mess is more of a distraction. Like when you're talking about the fog, that's another way to foggy and murky up the waters. Yeah, again. And even for me, like with my content, girl, it was like I in order to play the game, I have to also cover the quote unquote messy ass topics to play the game. But at that time, just like over here on CTV, I mean, look at who I'm modeling after, to drop nuggets of wisdom throughout it. But it's like, I think that it's going to have to take something very traumatic, very jarring, beyond what we're experiencing now for people to like tune in for the real shit as opposed to the fake shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's sad it has to get to that point because again, we're here now. Like there are things happening, laws being implemented and drafted and all type of legislative things happening and ideologies that are we see it every day. Every day we wake up and be like, okay, well, what's the new version of hell today? What's the new update, girl? Into hell, bitch. And when are the demons coming? You know what I mean? But this should be the opportunity for people to come in for these conversations. Because to CTV's point, we also played a part in this happening as well. Especially if you're unconscious about how you show up in your own life. So if you're not showing up consciously in your own life, I know that you're going to be guided by a bunch of other people. And you would wonder why organized religion was able to make so much money off of people who are broken and who are hurt. And instead of helping them to heal themselves, they'd rather just give you, like the pharmaceutical industry, I'll just give you this to help you deal with it. But I'm the only one that can get you to the next level, girl. Until the spotlight hits one of the leaders, girl, and all of a sudden it's, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So at this point, people have to, just like how I had to go through things in my own life to grow. God, source, universe, consciousness, accountability, whatever you want to call it, cannot be explained at this point. It can only be revealed. So some of these people just need to have a revelation, and the revelation hasn't come yet. But for those of us that have had revelations, this is the time for us to organize and to continue these conversations offline as well. When we plug out from this man-made system as far as social media, plug in with humanity, plug in with your family, plug in with your friends, have these type of conversations. If you can't be around people or you're in an environment where you can't have these conversations, hell, again, go to therapy. When there's a will, there is a way. But we have to strengthen our will because where we are as Black people in this country right now, yeah, we pretty messed up. We're pretty messed up. There are pockets and little sections where, you know, the intersections within are helping to keep it together, but it's falling apart. And I'm worried about the next generation because they're already being controlled anyway. And I think at this point, the way to remedy that is that, no shade, parents are just going to have to be honest with their kids at a young age about life.
And what do you propose they say and share with their kids at a young age about life?
Well, the
Exactly.
fact that their children have access to a phone and are smart enough and are intelligent enough and know about VPNs and stuff like this to bypass this, or if you got everything on their phone locked down, they around children that have a way or an opportunity to be able to see things that are considered adult. I think parents just need to tell the truth. For example, this is just me. It's just me. Again, y'all know I partake of the herb. If I have kids and they're around people who are partaking of the herb, when they get 15, 16 years old, I might say, okay, well, since I know you're probably going to be out there doing that with your friends, I know this. Doesn't matter how much I instilled in you, I know that you're going to do what the hell you want to do. At least allow me to create the safe space for you to even see what the hell this even looks like or feels like in a safe space. So that when you go out into the world, can't nobody fuck with you. So yeah, you can hit this once or twice, but if you hit something and your lips start tingling, something's laced with something. This is what it feels like to be under that influence. How do you feel? So that they can have autonomy over themselves, so that when they do go out into the world, when their friends are going to pass them the shit like they passed your ass the shit when you was that age, at least you're now informed about it. And we're in the information age. There are ways to help your children understand quote unquote complex things at a basic level. It is very
So
simple.
I have
There
a
are plenty
question
of go ahead.
to that point. So my question for you is, how would you teach your child to challenge the temptation to fit in or to resist peer pressure? Because when I think about that, right, I think about why maybe a lot of parents were ineffective in being able to help their children resist following the wrong crowds, is because it was only a commandment. It was only a demand that you did it. But we have to bring an indictment against that command. What is the culture that you provided to demonstrate maybe in your own life what that actually looks like? And where is that messaging in every other area of the life that you're giving to young people? Like, how do you teach a young person about their own personal impulses? You know, what type of culture are you creating within your parenting style that allows your children to develop the discipline against their own emotions, against their own desires? Because I just don't think that we've been like meticulous enough in not just asking a lot from people, but giving them the tools to actually follow through with what's being asked of them. And I feel like a lot of parents made a lot of demands, but didn't create anything else to help give the people they're in charge of leverage to be able to do just that. Like I always talk about how like leadership, right? Like you want ideally your child to be the one who cannot follow the crowd, who can do the right thing in a bad situation. You ideally want your child to be able to be the hero, or you want your child to be able to resist an adult who's trying to get them to do something inappropriate, or you want But here's how that cookie has to crumble if that's what the kind of child you want. Them resisting inappropriate ego and inappropriate power from a person of authority starts with you being selfless enough to allow them to challenge your inappropriate authority.
Uh-oh.
Because they're going to do what every other person does. They're going to project. You can't demonstrate one thing and then think they're going to go and do another thing. And I know a lot of people believe that, we have an old saying in the community, do as I say and not as I do. We should know by now that doesn't work. We should know by now that there's no such thing, baby. What you do is what the fuck they're going to do. But also how you allow them to practice and flex their independency and their pushback and their critical thinking, and how you allow them to chin check you respectfully on your own bullshit is going to have a lot to do with how they handle other authorities and how there's some saving grace when they get into situations where they need to stand up for themselves and they need to stand on principle and stand on business. And that all starts at home. It starts at home. So that's why I asked you that question, like, what would you say to, teaching young people? Like, I'm sure that as a kid, you had a desire to want to fit in like every other kid. Like, no kid wants to be bullied. But that's also another thing. What are we teaching young people about how to survive other people not liking you?
Oh.
I mean, aside from just slapping the kid upside the head and saying, fuck them people, you there for your classwork. That's not, once again, like, these are demands. These are demands. How, but how are you shaping me to be able to be okay? Aside from just demanding that I be okay with being rejected by the majority of my peers and being called a weirdo. Like, what are you instilling in me? What's being reinforced in me? Like, you have to give me the software. You have to install the software for me to be reasonably good at holding myself together under said circumstances. Do we even live in a culture where people are actually parenting, or are people just providing for children? Here's your food.
Providing.
Here's your food. Here's your electricity. Here's the roof. Do good in school. Don't fucking aggravate me. Don't get your ass in no trouble. Don't cause your parents no headache. And stay in the child's place. That's not raising a child, baby. And then we wonder why America is filled with a bunch of grown ass babies.
Hello.
A bunch of entitled, like, we are the fattest country in the world. We have the highest rate of obesity. We have a high self-wounding population. We have more gun violence in this country than any other nation in the world. I mean, America's statistics are out of control for it to be the so-called greatest nation in the world. Clearly, the great part is heavily propaganda. That's heavy propaganda, baby, on the great part. And then we have the nerve to appoint an administration that, God forbid, if that shit was a reflection. If that shit is a reflection of who we are, bitch, we're on hospice right now.
Very much so.
If this current administration it is mirroring back who we really are. And I have a real fucked up feeling that it is. That is probably one of the most polarizing reflections of who we are collectively. I think about how this country was okay with the soft bullying of so many minority groups. And now we're mad that a bully is bullying. From the Oval Office. We've been bullying homosexuals for how long?
Oh, hello.
We've been bullying women for how long?
Mm.
We've been bullying the disabled for how long?
Mm-hmm.
We've been selfishly insisting upon our own religious beliefs and not giving a fuck and not thinking we had to respect anybody else and forcing our God down other people's mouths and banging on their doors and telling them that they're going to hell if they don't allow us to sit in their living room and persuade them from this 2-part pamphlet about our Jehovah. We've been trumping for a long time. There's been all these interesting little pockets of trumping that we've been doing. And we're mad now that we have appointed somebody who is fully embodying everything that's always been wrong with us. It's almost like frowning up at your own fart. Bitch, that's you. That's you, bitch. What you frowning for, girl? That's you.
I'm screaming.
That's you, and you're disgusted.
Girl.
Trump is our stench. Our stench. And if we, because right, we're here talking about a plethora of things, but a big thing is accountability. When are we going to take accountability for Trump? Even for those of us who didn't vote for him, but we've been him in spirit in so many other ways. Because a lot of us voted blue, but we've been acting red.
Hello.
A lot of us voted right, but behaved left. Hold on. No. Okay. In reverse.
You was right the first.
A lot of us, no. A lot of us vote left, but act right. Because left is them.
Yes, and
right is Republican.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. We've been Trump in spirit. We just felt better about ourselves because we sprinkled some virtue here and there in some other areas. And so, of course, we're not like them people. But cancer in one place eventually becomes cancer in all places. Cancer that begins in the arm eventually owns the body. Cancer that exists in the stomach eventually owns the body. When are we going to take ownership for what we've done? When? When are we going to be honest enough to say, oh my fucking God? Oh my God. I've been just as bad as it relates to some things and some people. When are we going to stop acting like it doesn't reflect some part of us too? Because see, we're spiritual beings, right? We live in the spiritual dimension, right? So that means that the shit is energetic, right? Trump is a result not of voting, but of energy being mirrored back unto itself. Energy. It didn't matter how you voted as long as you were acting, behaving, verbing on the same frequency. And then we got a collective symbol of what that looks like. So just like when it comes to Black men or the Black community, I also think about collectively how I just really don't think that we understand the predicament that we're factor in. I think we're still underestimating the predicament we're in. I think we're still missing the mark. We still really don't get it. And we're going to be in severe, deep shit as a result of not discerning and reading the motherfucking room. Because we're all being caught the fuck out. In this era. We're all of our whole cards have been motherfucking pulled. There's not one of us who it don't got nothing to do with. Oh, they don't like that kind of teaching. Nobody likes accountability. And just because you didn't say it like Trump don't mean that you ain't say it at all. Just because you weren't divisive like Trump don't mean you weren't divisive at all. Just because you dressed your egotism and ignorance and narcissism up a little bit more romantically than Trump did don't mean you weren't narcissistic and fucking divisive and ignorant just like him in some regard. So what we gonna do with all this accountability that need to be accounted for? What we gonna do? Continue to blame each other? Don't worry about it. By the time Trump is done, only 40% of the American population will be left standing to begin with. There won't even be enough people left to point a finger at by the time he's done. Me and Bubs was discussing this the other day, and I know that this is what he's etching my ass to go into.
Oh, yes. I'm about to put my camera off in a minute, bitch, and sit the hell down, girl.
Which I feel like it really should be in another video, but hell, whatever.
Whatever you want to do. Maybe it can be the last plight to men.
I feel like that conversation deserves its own.
Okay. Well,
it just deserves its own thing. I don't want it to take us too far out of the topic, but just sticking to accountability. There's enough of it to go around.
Ooh, yeah.
It's enough of it to go around. And if we don't sit down and think about the way we have intentionally or unintentionally or consciously or unconsciously led and played and leaned into this and helped to co-create this is what's going to remain. Because once again, perception creates reality. You can't change your life without changing your mind first. I just don't feel that we're ready. The same world that was outraged over Epstein continued to make R. Kelly rich, though. I just don't think that. I don't think we're ready. I don't think we're ready. I don't think we're ready. I don't think we're ready.
But ready or not, here it come. Here it come. You called for me. You sent for me. Here I am. Now what?
A lot of people are outraged over the wars and conflicts and the invasions of Trump, but ignored that Obama was doing the very same thing just because he was a symbol of Black excellence. And
No shade.
so you were willing to overlook the same genocide, the same dominance, the same over assertion of power, the same innocent blood just because of a status symbol. We've been delusional. We've been delusional. And we've cherry picked. And we've turned a blind eye when it was convenient. And we strayed away from principle and strayed away from what was right. If it meant that we could look good, we chose imaging and marketing over ethics and morality. And we sold our souls again and 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 again, and made ourselves feel good about it because, hell, there's no difference in that and calling yourself a vegan, but you still eat meat once out of the week. You do know that medicine doesn't work as long as you are in any way, shape, or form still partaking in poison. Right? You do know that medicine does not work. Nutrition does not work. As long as you're willing to continue to participate in harmful behavior regarding your digestive and immune system. And that's the delusion that we played into in this country. Because we chose to be upright regarding 6 out of 10 things, we ignored the other 4 cardinal sins that we were breaking. Because what about the 6? I do good the majority of the time. Well, look at what the majority of the time has gotten us. Now the majority of our asses are going to be in deep shit as a result of only choosing to do right the majority of the time. And all that space that we allowed for the other shit to take place is now the space that's being exploited and hijacked. That's whipping our ass right now. We left all that space, room, and opportunity. And when I spoke about the vegan eating meat thing, I was speaking like metaphorically.
Metaphorically, yeah.
Yeah. Just speaking metaphorically. About how we've cloaked our psychosis and cloaked our mediocrity and cloaked our delusion. We wanted to protect Black people, but didn't want to protect Black women. We wanted to protect Black women, but didn't want to protect Black trans women. We wanted to protect Black men, but didn't want to protect Black queer men. We was always leaving the door open for transgression. Always willing to end up on the scale of and on the side of hypocrisy. Trump is a reflection of how we've all dropped the ball, how we energetically created something like this administration, came together through us cherry picking and leaving all this room for a mutation to grow in the areas that we weren't being diligent in and that we were being hypocritical in. We weren't vaccinating the entire body. We were only concerned about being healthy from the waist up spiritually. And doing that has brought us right fucking here to our reckoning. And I hope that this is the part that we really see in all of this. I hope that this is the fucking diagnosis that we're doing on this shit. Because if y'all really think this is about fucking voting, and y'all really think that this is simply about racism, no, but this is much, much larger in scale than that. This onion has plenty of fucking layers. And the final layer reveals all of us in our contribution to the current condition. Of the reality that we found ourselves sitting in. And that's how I'm going to know. By the time this is all said and done, that's how I'm going to know if we're going to be back here again. It's if we're not atoning for our sins in this way. If we're not taking ownership. And if what we recreate in this place, if we get the opportunity to, it's not a full reflection of a full humanity. Not a humanity that's extended to some people, not a humanity that's extended to only the groups that we like. Because if not, yeah, this administration ain't going nowhere. And the universe will keep whooping our ass, and it'll just think that we're appointing someone progressive and loving who would just have, in fact, been a wolf in sheep's clothing. And we'll be disappointed again, just like so many are disappointed in Obama, and they were disappointed in Trump, and disappointed in Bush, and disappointed in Bill. Ain't been nothing but a consistent disappointment.
Yeah.
Because we never stood all the way up. So, accountability. It's a very deep thing. It's a very heart-wrenching thing. But if we are as filled with the Spirit of God as we say we are, as a people, or this is a godly nation, a Christian nation, we're going to see.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to see. Because one of the telltale signs that we, in fact, are is going to be how deeply committed to repentance we are. How deeply committed to accountability we are. Accountability, repentance is one and the same to godliness. We got a lot of shadow work to do. Anecdotally, culturally, collectively. Before we get out of here, I want to talk a little bit about forgiveness. What do you define forgiveness? Well, before we get there, anything that you want to add to what?
No, I'm
I
just
was
ready for that.
crawling around in there.
No, I was ready. I'm ready for that video for you to continue.
Okay, yeah.
The other you talk about, yeah, because
that conversation.
Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like the reason why these conversations are very important, especially now, is because there's still a chance for us to get to a level to where we can actually see what's objectively harming all of us. Some of us feel like we safe. Some of us feel like we're exempt, that we can hide behind money, power, fame, all these other things. And no, everybody is going to be exposed. Baby, there is nowhere for the roaches to hide. They in a room and the light is on, nowhere to hide. Everyone is there. And yes, we desperately need it, especially as America. how much crimson fluid, sweat, and tears that is in this soil, in this ground, and you don't think that eventually one day energetically it's not going to reverberate back up? So we're here, and it gives us like the ultimate, crossroads. We can continue to do what we've been doing and actually succumb to that same type of cycle, or if not for you, for the sake of your children and your children's children, the ones that y'all say that y'all protect when it comes down to queer stuff, it would be best to do something different. No shade. No shade. Organized religion has failed us. Capitalism has failed us. Patriarchy has failed us. The creation of this system has failed us because, for one, it was never intended for the people to control. It was intended to control the people. And we see this and we know this, and no shade, we are living this. We are literally living out, or are going to continue to live out, all the things we've read throughout history books, all the things that we've heard that happen in other countries, baby. But guess what? The great US of A, Karma's finally knocking on her door to come on into the room. Come on in the room. So this is where we at now. No shade. But for those that have the ability or the awareness to make a change, it's time for us to come together with other like-minded individuals. No shade. That's where I'm at. Everybody ain't got to do it. We just need enough. And that's really it. We just need enough. So continue to love yourself. Continue to honor yourself. Continue to know that you are worthy of good things happening to you, and that you also, again, have to heal. And as CTV is going to finish off, as I land my plane, forgiveness. Because, again, forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. So you can go ahead and end it with forgiveness.
So, with that being said, what role do you think that forgiveness plays in healing?
Very important. Very important, because I believe that when it comes down to the healing aspect, we deal with a lot of guilt and a lot of shame, because sometimes we look back and be like, wow, I did allow that to happen. Yeah, I was under this influence, or that happened. Like after my ego death in 2018, as I was going through my healing journey, I wanted it to make it about the other person. You said, no, baby, you got to take accountability for your life. And you put it in the way of, like, again, when someone comes into your life, they're not responsible in reference to, well, you're not responsible, in reference to the mess that they've left in your life. But you are responsible for cleaning it up because it is your life. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you have to make that change to clean up your own space. That's called part of having... Go ahead.
It's like if somebody busts a nut on your face, you still have to wipe that nut off. It's on your face. Yes.
After you done did the smiling and all that shit, yes, you have to wipe it off your face.
Someone put it there.
Yeah.
But it's on your face. Just like that experience. Just like that experience that someone brought into your life is on your soul now. It's on your mind now. So yes, their role matters in terms of if y'all are going to continue forward in a relationship, but they don't have to matter as it relates to your personal resolve. You don't need them to resolve the experience intimately and within yourself. A lot of people do, though, but continue to. A lot of people think so, though, but continue to expound upon what you were saying.
Oh, no, I was basically just saying that, we could talk about the infinite expressions of it all day, and we will.
Okay, so
from another platform.
So then I have a question for you then.
Okay.
Should Black people forgive white people?
Energetically, yes, and I'm gonna tell you why.
And what does that mean as well?
I feel like, and again, I'm gonna do my best to answer this the best of my ability, girl. Because shout out to these questions, girl. I love it. But I think that we are going to first. I'm gonna do the energetic and then the physical, the application of that. Energetically, we're gonna have to let the shit go. As far as trying to be a part of this system, it will never work. And the physical aspect is at this point, since y'all hoes want it so bad, here the fuck you go. Here you go. But don't ever forget. You can forgive, but don't forget. Because what I think we need to do is like really come together and really protect our own. Because every time we ended up saying, you know what, you can have it. We're going to create our own shit. They come over and destroy our shit. Now we're going to have to defend it with the 400 plus years of the rage that we have in reference to, again, don't fuck with me. One of my favorite examples is like this from the Mortal Kombat story or lore. If you play the Mortal Kombat games, especially the ones with the different timelines, you will get it. We know that Raiden is the Thunder God, and he's the protector, one of the protectors of Earthrealm, the guardians of Earthrealm. That nigga got fucked up as far as having some dark energy in him, and he went to Revenant Liu Kang and Katana and told them motherfuckers, at this point, look, y'all could do whatever the hell y'all want to do, but if I have an inkling, or if I pontificate somewhere that your ass is threatening Earthrealm, y'all won't have a chance because we're going to decimate y'all. That's the type of shit we're going to have to be on. No shade. And it's going to have to really be a mental and emotional and a thing that we as black people get to create as far as a monolith and then the intersections within without whiteness having to narrate everything. And be prepared to defend it. And I think, no shade to white America, you don't want to fuck with black people, girl, who, no shade, has not given y'all what it is that in your mind, y'all deep down know that y'all deserve. Because if black people want to fuck y'all up, we would have been did it. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. With that Alabama brawl or whatever that case was, baby, niggas was swimming across to be able to get up in there. So
it might be the reason it looked this way is because we haven't done it. Proper ass whippings, despite all of the misunderstandings about the role violence plays, has actually led to a lot of beautiful outcomes.
Baby, sometimes you got to slap a bitch in the mouth. Sometimes you got to pop somebody in there.
Do you know how many bitches who got slapped in the mouth who ended up as best friends with the bitch who popped them in the mouth?
Oh yes, I have.
Shit got real.
Experience when it happened.
Shit got real friendly afterwards. Yeah. See, I ain't one of them. Just pop them and they just. Oh, okay. Hey. I ain't one of them people. I ain't one of them light and love people who don't think that violence doesn't have its role, because I have seen in real life, baby, how violence has regulated a lot of shit properly.
No shade, and sometimes that is
quiet and no back talk.
But that's a part of the objective ways that accountability can happen. You just can't walk up to a black person and say the N-word and not expect to be thunderclapped in your damn ear. Shut the fuck up. Something, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a scary part for blackness. Like, we have internalized that so much to where we started harming ourselves as opposed to reaching out. And when you look throughout history, there's been plenty of instances where, no shade, black people would have heaven and earth on their damn side, girl, to find rectification through violence. Everything we destroy inanimate objects. We ain't showing up to put, like I said, a lot of times, George Zimmerman, this nigga homeless now, girl. Where the niggas at that like catching niggas on licks and shit? Where y'all at? Why ain't y'all dropping a hot 16 about how y'all smoked the fuck out of George Zimmerman, bitch?
So where's the Get Back gang?
Where's that at? Because if Mook Mook shoot Ray Ray, oh, trust me, baby, somebody gonna have to pay for this. And if it ain't that nigga, it's gonna be somebody close to that nigga as far as his family is concerned.
But I blame that on us not organizing our own superheroes like older generations did. All the Black Panthers was a gang of fucking superheroes. We how dare we see the injustice within the system, but then not create our own defenses and create our own equivalents as a result. That was weird to do, to keep begging the system that's hurting and harming us to treat us better, which needs to happen technically because we buy into the system. Our taxes go into the system. We're entitled to the betterment of the system. But at the same time, how are we stupid enough to not also protect ourselves until that actually happens?
Right. Right.
We didn't organize or create our own defenses against any of this shit.
Or they end up destroying those who do. Because when we look at, during the civil rights movement and the Black Panthers literally becoming the answer to the problems they've been wanting the system to fix. They told them they wouldn't fix an ish. So low key, it's kind of like we going through the same thing, but like a different version of it. But it's like, again, you had Huey P. Newton, you had Fred Hampton, you had all these people who realized, no shade, not only is it black, it's more of a society aspect of it. And these individuals were literally defending, protecting, taking care of their own community. The one thing that now the people who are complaining about, we don't want to take care of those people because those people are, now they're taking care of their own ish. They're pulling themselves up by their own bootstraps. And somehow those individuals end up being wanted by the government for taking care of their communities. The same people who tell black people that they lazy, that they can't do shit, don't trust them niggas over there. They pull themselves up from their bootstraps, the one they had to create. Because black people are creative. And one saving grace is that when it comes out to survival, white people, welcome to our world, girl. I hope y'all can make it. I hope you're learning. This is a crash course. But as soon as we pull up our own bootstraps and do our own thing, girl, y'all come through and mess it up. Y'all implement moles and informants into it. Y'all have people come in to as a psyop to be able to destroy people taking care of their own ish, which is why, again, if the people really knew that as much as the system wants us to believe that we need it, it really needs us, because without it, it is nothing. It is nothing. And no shade in this system to keep things from falling apart. We have to have a label on people who are considered bad guys. There has to be a group that's going to always be compromised and sacrificed to be able to keep everybody else happy. We got to be able to bring in the confusion, so we'll create the middle class. So people can still fall into the system until now. There pretty much ain't no damn middle class now. It's the have and the have-nots. Again, we all played into this. And yes, we can deal with that anger, we can deal with that confusion, but we also need to figure out what do we do next. Before we can go forward, we have to acknowledge where we are. And baby, yes, it's going to be a difficult time. So for those of you who still got ego deaths, or you haven't had an ego death before, it's going to be a little tough. It's going to be challenging, but it's not impossible. And I think for people like us, and I can speak for myself, growing up in this system and having the system low-key already reject you at a young age, you kind of already like not as codependent as everybody else is who played into it. So it was like I was able to become aware at a young age and just grow my awareness. I just had to have somebody teach me how to do that. But because the system did not want me, and because I played into the fears of the system in my own mind, that was like a saving grace in a sense, because I'm, again, not as codependent on the system to take care of me. And I think for everybody else who's been playing that for 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years, to have that sudden shock happen to you, that sudden level of awareness that you can't escape, yeah, I can imagine how it would have people in fight or flight mode. No shade.
Should queer people forgive straight people?
Yes. Because there are what I realized, that the straight people, there are some that are truly ignorant, which means they don't know. But then there are plenty.
What would you say the ratio is of those who are pro versus those who are against? How much of the...
We're going to talk about it publicly?
What percentage of the dominant society do you think is against the LGBT, if you had to put a percentage on it? How much of the system is against?
I would say and I don't want to say this because I want to be wrong, but I felt like a very big part of society does not.
What does that look like numerically? Would you say 50? Say half? Would you say 70? Would you say 30? Would you say
I'll probably say
25%?
anywhere between 65 to possibly 70%.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, because and even for and the reason why I say that number is because I gotta believe that some of them, they may publicly feel that way, but personally they feel different. But they got to keep up status quo. It's all about looks. It's all about optics in this place. I mean, look at the dude from Beauty is Black or Black is Beautiful, whatever the show is. I
Oh,
forgot the name of it.
oh,
Where he's in
oh.
this show where I haven't watched it, but I've heard that there is some queer centered things in it. And
He
here it is.
He
He's
plays a stripper who was hired to be a escort for a down low rich man. He was
so.
basically another man's sugar baby.
Mhm. But then it's like you share your religious perspective, which I mean, I guess because it's the freedom of speech, you have a right to share that. But it's kind of like interesting because y'all don't, y'all, you're saying that people who are queer are going to go to hell, but you are
But we're
playing
not going to be there
someone who
alone.
is getting money, huh?
That we're going to hell, but we're not going to be alone there. There's going to be a lot of people joining us.
Oh, okay, great. But you don't mind playing the character who can get the money.
Yeah.
You don't mind selling your soul in that regard, but you won't stand on principle as far as I'm not finna do any of this homosexual
What
shit
I do
at all
for a
because-
living, despite it being in servitude of secularism, but somehow I'm still gonna go to heaven. Some homosexuals, though. Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what
I
I
can
mean.
be butt ass naked swinging my penis around on a show and working for a man who's being sued by two different men for sexual assault.
Mhm.
And make popular a show that intersects with homosexuality and promiscuity and murder, theft, all the things my Bible preaches against. But I'm willing to be a workhorse to make a show like that popular for God's kingdom. That it's a shame when your Christianity is only your read.
Oh, no shade. I mean, look at what happened with Power and Empire. We can have all the other things. People that when I used to go to church talking about, oh girl, I can't wait till I get home. Girl, did you watch so and so, so and so? But as soon as Jamal came, as soon as it was the same sex character, now
it's
there's an agenda. It's ungodly, and we know what our pastor gonna talk about because he also watched the show. But now there's some gay shit. Now he's able to get some commentary and grift off of it.
It's an attack on the Black community. Okay, so fuck the murder and the corruption and everything else that's being personified.
As long as it ain't gay. As long as it is not gay.
That gay gonna get the best of some of these motherfuckers.
Hell yeah, y'all so scared of it, girl. It's gonna come twinkling out of y'all motherfuckers, girl.
But this is why so many communities, whether we're talking about the Black community toward the white community or the gay community toward the straight community, this is why there's been such a breakdown in trust, because they will do all that. They will look like a duck, quack like a duck. They will show up in the room like they're cool with us, and then kaboom, that happens. That happens. That happens. Like, how did you even get this far in with that in you? Because shouldn't that in you have kept you from getting this far in the room with us? And that consistent betrayal. But to your point, we do have to be mature enough to judge individuals and not make indictments against entire groups.
Right. And by the content of their character, not their orientation.
Forgiveness on, is there on a personal level, is there anybody that you are still struggling to forgive in your life? Anybody at all? Or is there anything or anybody that you still wrestle with when it comes to forgiveness? And what do you define, like, just like we were defining love, what is your definition of forgiveness?
Let me see. Is there anybody in my life presently that I'm struggling to forgive?
Either a person or a thing you're struggling to forgive, because sometimes people can struggle to forgive situations or events.
I guess in a sense, I'm kind of still forgiving myself for all the opportunities that I did have that could have changed my life in a way that I wanted, but I was too afraid to take it. Like, for example, I remember when at this time I was still active in organized religion, and there was a mega church that came to our church, because our church was becoming somewhat popular, and they were looking for people, for actors for a particular show, or that they were putting on. And I ended up auditioning. They really liked me. And I ended up being a part of the show. I went from having 1 part to 3 parts, because even though it was a mega church, they was hella unprofessional. I don't know what's going on with black people and not getting y'all shit together as far as organizing the church, but it pisses me off. So after that, she invited me to come to a recording, because I guess that somebody was filming or whatever, and there was an executive producer or of a show that was going to be put on Bounce TV. And she was like, "Oh, I want you to meet this person because I've told them so much about you. Follow me." And I started following them. And the fear kicked in, and the fear wonder where it said, "Girl, stop. Just stop. Just stop." I literally stopped. She walking and talking and shit. I literally turned around and left.
Oh.
Because it was, oh my God, well, what if they find out about my sexuality? What if they, all these fear-based things that were coming into my mind, how I fucked up my own blessing. And there's some times where I'm like, damn, if I never would have done that, I wonder where my life would have been. But I'm also grateful for the way that it turned out, because it's like, damn, if my ass did do that, and then I was quote unquote in the closet, or had to hide my orientation, and it becomes discovered, am I willing to deal with what it is that I might possibly lose?
Yeah.
And that was before I came out, if I'm not mistaken. So it was just like, or whatever. But I'm learning to forgive myself for that. And also, too, when there are opportunities that do present itself, I realize that it's okay to be scared. It's okay to, be nervous in a sense, because you don't know. But that gives you an opportunity to transmute it, because if it wasn't meant for you, it would have not manifested in front of you. It's just, the test is just there to see if you are ready to receive it. So I feel like that was something I had to forgive. And you said, what is forgiveness?
What is forgiveness? How would you define forgiveness? What is the act of forgiveness?
I think it'd be easy to describe it real quick. I mean, it kind of goes back to the whole situation of how we dealt with accountability, as far as playing in forgiveness, as far as personally, for your self-forgiveness, it's about, yes, this did hurt me, but also realizing that it was just a moment in time, and realizing that this person was just operating in what it is that they knew at the time. And eventually I do have to energetically let that go. I have to let that go for my betterment, for me to move on with life. Because if I do not, everything else that I'm connected with, that unforgiveness is going to infect. And then I'm going to unconsciously, or through my unforgiveness, hurt other people who did not deserve it. Now I'm projecting onto people. So I have to let go for me. But like I said, at the same time, I'm not going to forget so that it doesn't happen again. I'm not going to forgive you just so you can keep hurting me. That's not how it's supposed to happen. Now I have awareness. Now I have guardrails. Now I have borders put in place. Because no shade, now that I've been through this situation, I'm smarter and I'm wiser. So therefore, I'm going to operate as such. And then what was the last part of the question you asked?
So that was the question.
What
Is
else?
if you struggle, if you had anything that you were struggling to forgive, and what did you define forgiveness as?
Okay, so we good. We covered. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, cool.
Fi-
I thought it was the
I
third
would
part.
define forgiveness as the willingness to stop hurting yourself and others over what happened. Whether you're hurting yourself emotionally, whether you're hurting other people as a result of what has happened physically, emotionally, mentally, it's willfully deciding not to harm yourself or others anymore over it. Yeah, that's what I would describe forgiveness as. Because when we talk about like people hurting people, they're hurting themselves or hurting other people because of what? Because they haven't forgiven. They haven't forgiven. They aren't done with expressing the pain from being hurt in whatever way that they have been. Whether that pain is self-inflicted, starving oneself, under-eating, overeating, self-abuse, self-cutting, not taking care of yourself, abandoning yourself, neglecting yourself, or whether it's harming other people, afflicting other people. Forgiveness is how we stop the perpetrator within us. Forgiveness is how we keep ourselves from perpetrating harm against others. Forgiveness is how we stop harming ourselves. Yeah. Forgiveness. Is there anything I am struggling to forgive? I feel like I've forgiven everything. I think by some people's definition, it might not appear that way because I'm not willing to be in relationship all the time with people I've forgiven. But I don't make forgiveness synonymous with relationships. Just because I forgive you does not mean that we have to be in relationship to one another.
Correct.
I'm so clear about that. So clear that forgiveness is not synonymous to realignment. I forgive you, aka I'm not willing to harm you over it. Have a nice life. Sayonara.
Arrivederci.
Now, someone may ask, well, CTV, how do you decide then who to be in relationship to at the breakdown? Well, I'm also somebody who kind of believes that injury has a hierarchy. Like there are some injuries and transgressions that are misdemeanors, and then there are some things that are felony level, and then there's some things that are like death row. Like, bitch, you gotta go. You gotta go, girl. There's ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it, bitch. Like, you gotta be eradicated, girl. Like, there's no way. No way in the fuck hell. Absolutely the fuck not can there ever be a energetic, social, emotional connecting point whatsoever. The things that are a misdemeanor, I can consider realignment. Felony level, I can forgive that too. But rather we are going to be in relationship is going to be totally and purely predicated upon your ability to absolutely heal and resolve what you've done. In a situation where you did the most to hurt me, you're going to have to do the most to correct you. You won't be able to partially stand up You won't be able to partially get it right. Just like you gave me the worst of you, you would have to be committed to the very best in yourself. And that can lead possibly to realigning. I can forgive the shit that's capital punishment. The sins and transgressions that are just extreme too. But if it's a capital punishment level transgression, there is no hope for a relationship. I can forgive it, but it'll never be under no circumstances. Even if you turn into the second coming of Christ tomorrow, there's no hope. There's no potential. Felony, there is potential, but solely dependent upon full transformation. Misdemeanor, if you willing to work through it, we can work through it. That's fine. Shit happens. Nobody's so-called perfect. Shit happens. Shit happens. Oh yes, you missed a lot, Eris. You're at the 3-hour mark, baby, and we did quite a bit of traveling in this discussion.
But I think a replay would be very good for you to hear.
Oh, a replay would be dope. Yeah,
definitely.
You can put this on at night. Put this on while you're around the house cleaning. It's yeah. We moved. What about you? I mean, like, do you have the capacity to realign as long as a person is able to do the work, even in the most extreme of circumstances?
I believe everybody has a chance, or at least a chance, one chance at least, to be able to, like, I guess, prove that. But once you consider yourself like a repeated offender, after a while, it's just like, no. So, but if you do the work, like, that's all I can ask for, you know, and I have to also do my work of letting it go. I'm not going to sit up here and torture you because of what you did to me. I don't get joy out of doing it anyway. I'd rather just do what we can to get back to the loving part. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if they're putting in the work, yes, that's what needs to happen, is the work, not the words. The work. Put the work in.
The work. Any final words for Black men? Do Black men ever take accountability? Conversation.
Black men. Even for the Black men who be like, well, they ain't talking about me. This ain't about me. It is about you, because we need you to start having these conversations with the people that it's about. And you're in those spaces and you have more privilege than the other men do, especially over here on this platform. So do that. It's okay to cry. Allow your sons to cry. It does not make them weak. If anything, it shows how strong they are, because they're able to actively release something that is hurting them. That's the smart thing to do. Find ways to develop in your mental and emotional awareness and intelligence. And I promise, once you start doing that and you see the benefits that not only happen for you, but for your community, then maybe you can start getting what you want as far as what you say you're looking for, because now you've actually earned it. So that's all I got to say.
And what I will say is, if you don't want to change, Black man, that's fine. Just don't be mad at other people for doing so.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. And accept the penalty of not changing, which is people divesting from your life. Respect it. Respect it. Because you don't have to grow up. You don't have to find it worth it to do so. You don't have to take ownership. But we live in a cause and an effect system. So just know that there's also consequences to not doing so. And the consequence is your loneliness. The consequence is your emptiness. The consequence is you not having anyone to trust or to go to back for you, truly. The consequence is you being forced to wear a shallow mask to navigate in while never being able to show up as your full self. And never and going to bed knowing that as a result of you not showing up in your real self, that you don't have anybody that actually really loves the real you.
Mm-hmm.
And so nobody really does. Because you cannot grow up. And you cannot accept accountability. But there are definitely dire consequences spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, and socially to not doing so. Nobody gets to have it all. Nobody. And definitely not people who don't do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a great discussion, you all. 3 hours of two Black men talking about accountability and shadow work and forgiveness and therapy and culture and individual and adultal reality and collective reality. You can always find Bubs on Bubs to God on YouTube and Instagram. You can also send him some love through my personal Cash App. Just make sure that you put Bubs in the note. Bubs, but can people send to Apple Pay too? Or they need the phone
I
number
think
to
they
do
need my
that?
number, girl.
Okay, yeah.
No, my number.
Not going to happen.
They need my number.
You guys can always show me some personal love. If you enjoyed yourself, if you got anything out of this, if you laughed, if you loved, if you cried, if you resonated, if you just smooth you out, you can show some love at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv, and that's conscious with a Z on the end, of course. A. Cooper says, I really enjoyed this combo. CTV and Bubs, have a good night. Jasmine says, thank you, CTV and Bubs, of course. Make sure you guys run the likes up, tell a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. And of course, we will be getting back to the mess. And we will be getting back into that other spiritual conversation that Bubs wants to have as well. We're
I'm really
probably
gonna be listening in, girl, because that's I'm gonna sit down for that
oh
one.
no, I need your ass up here to
Oh, I mean,
bounce
I
off.
mean, I'm a balanced girl, but I'm also gonna be listening. Yeah, I'm learning.
We're all learning.
I know, but I'm just talking about me.
Okay, and I'm talking about us. We're all learning. I like the mess and the reality on period. So agree with that, CTV. It's your choice to grow up, but own it fully and don't demonize those who do and accept what comes with. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Amai Joseph. It's your choice to grow up, but own it fully and don't demonize those who do and accept the consequences, the penalties, not the punishment, but the penalties and the consequences that come with that. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You don't get to have it all. You don't get to have a narcissist. You don't get to be a narcissist and or an emotionally avoidant psychopath or a selfish ingrain or a pathetic incel and then also be entitled to other people's superpowers and other people's well-being and other people's characteristics, and you don't get to benefit in that way. You don't get to be less while indulging in the most that other people offer. You don't get to take and not give anything of substance in return. You don't get to require people to do the most while you do the least.
Right. Right.
You don't get to be a recipient while never being a giver. You don't get to. And if people want to check out of that, they should. They will. And they can. You don't have to do it any differently. But all we ask is that everybody be integral enough to accept the penalty that come with not doing it differently. That's it. You don't got to do it differently. You don't got to be better. Just accept the consequences and the penalty of not doing so. But it for sure is your choice to make. But it's also everybody else's choice on whether they want to be loved that way, whether they want to be cared for that way, if they want to be family that way, if they want to be friended that way, if they want to be romanced that way. We all have choices, and all is fair in love and war. We're out here, you guys. Good night and happy Friday.